I had a robbery charge where we actually freaking kicked the door. We kicked in a dope house's door and went and fucking tied people up and robbed them for their fucking drugs and money and shit like that. That's kind of I was just doing some crazy shit. So I had all that. It was like all wrapped up into one. It was like within a year I got like three fucking felonies. I was bond out. Boom, boom, boom. Pull it up.
That one's on.
Still Austin, huh?
Mic is on. And then, if you want to just throw these.
Let me get my headphones on.
Yeah, because the headphones kind of makes you feel like you're like in there.
Makes you like in the zone.
Yeah, like it shuts you off from like from the outside world.
Okay.
You're like in my my lair. Like
we're in the zone now.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man.
How much?
Yeah, that's about right.
Good?
Yeah.
All right.
I like this fucking whiskey. It's good.
Sipping on some bourbon.
Hell yeah.
My boy Bobby Cupparo.
Thanks for coming, man.
Man, I appreciate you having me, man. I'm glad that I could make it. I know we were, talking about it for a little bit, but
cheers. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So what are you doing? You're in San Antonio now, right? You said, and that's why San Antonio, it's like what, an hour? Yeah, an hour away.
That's about an hour and
What
a
are
half.
you doing out there?
Well, my wife, my wife.
Yeah,
Of course. Her sister and her, actually it's a family business. Her sister, her mom, and her, they have makeup academies. Where they, certify estheticians. They do like everything you can think of with beauty for certifications to get licensing and, eyelash extensions. Anything to do with beauty, pretty much they cover it all. And this, they have a location there in Dallas and then one here in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's one in each city.
Yeah. And my wife, she does hands-on, like they do like hair classes too. And she does like hands-on, it's more like seminar, like after, it'd be like if you and I were to go to a tattoo seminar, people that are already really skilled, it was, it's like, extended education that she does that part. So it's usually a week class. So we come down here for, 1 week at least. About 4 or 5 times a year. So you just come hang out. I got a sick Airbnb and it's like, it's like a hilltop view and it's got like a bunch of it's like a real steep, probably about 2-acre drop. And it's like nothing but yucca plants. Like it's really cool. It's a really cool, just little serene spot. And it's got a big, the back, it's like a retro old house, but it has like the back wall is almost a whole window.
Oh,
so,
damn.
I'm going to do a couple tattoos there,
Okay.
Go scratch it out over there,
So that's cool. So she's doing like essentially seminars for like all cosmetic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty like there's a lot like in that, right? Like that's like a big demand for that shit.
Man, beauty is the beauty industry. That is one thing. It's actually amazing how much people pay for the education of beauty.
That's what I'm saying.
It's insane, actually, real insane.
Yeah.
But it's like, there's a need for it, and there's like, you can't ever have enough people in. I don't think any industry. Because people get old and die and, new trends happen. And it's like, it has to happen. So it's like, like in the beauty industry, it's like, it's just like, tattoo industry is a part of like pretty much a beauty industry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
yeah.
but
I think so.
Not the same, but.
No, but it's like almost in that subgenre in a way.
Yeah,
right?
It's vanity.
Vanity,
people don't need beauty. People don't need fake nails, eyelashes, hair, all that bullshit.
Or tattoos, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like humans have this like yearning for, beautifying themselves to appeal to others, whatever, whatever the root cause is. Yeah.
Yeah, or they gotta, appeal to society the way they feel society looks at, whatever society's likes are. That's what people, whatever Instagram or
exactly.
Model. Yeah, it's like
people will go to far extents or pay a lot of money for like beauty or modifications or.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I used to get like one client used to like come get his tattoo and be like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna go to the beach this weekend and pick up bitches with this new ink. And I'm like, sure, dude.
It's like a new pair of tennies, bro. Yeah, like that. Yeah, I just got a new pair of tennies, bro. And I'm gonna go fuck it up, step in the mud and shit. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna last like a year, but. Yeah,
I'm gonna go get a tag. Go pick up a bitch. Like that's what this kid was thinking. I was like, I don't know if that'll help you, bro. But hey, I'm here for you.
Hey, it can help some cases.
It could,
sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure it has.
Yeah, I've actually had a client I tattooed, and he came and like he was, he's just one of he's like a real soft-spoken guy. You could tell, was one of those guys that's just. Not ever like an alpha type personality, quiet, laid back, and he came and he started getting a sleeve. It was his first tattoo ever. He was 21 years old. Mm-hmm. He started getting a sleeve, and by the end of his sleeve, when he came back, he's like, bro, this shit helped me out so much.
Yeah.
I actually gave him a confidence boost because he was talking to a girl while I was tattooing him. This girl he was talking to, she came in to see him, right? And anyways, I saw her, I was like, she was a little bit, you know, out of his league, you could tell, and she left. And he's like, yeah, man, she's always talking about, you know, these guys. She goes on lunch dates and this and that. It's just her friends. I was like, man, fuck that, bro.
Yeah.
What do you? No, I was like, is she your wife? Or he was like, man, I'm like, bro, I'm fucking nixed that. But anyways, when he came back like 2 sessions later, he's like, bro, I took your advice. And he's like, man, these tattoos really did help me. They gave me some confidence. And he was like,
yeah,
maybe in his mind, maybe they really didn't help him get the women or bitches per se,
but it helped his confidence.
Yeah, mentally he's like, fuck yeah, it was like a suit of armor.
It was like a placebo effect, like almost. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be something.
It's like eyelashes, bro, and some fake nails. They're really not your shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I mean, whatever. You know,
it's
that's
very
how
interesting.
That's probably how women feel with that. You know, that is how women feel. You know, when they put on, you know, wigs, makeup. You know, it's like a confidence booster. Like, I mean, dude goes to the barbershop. Obviously, you and I probably don't go to the barbershop.
No, you know, I did for the first time.
Okay.
I went to the barbershop 2 days ago and got there's actually a barbershop right in this building. So I went over there, and I just have the beard all scruffy, you know what I'm saying? But now I was like, you know what? Maybe let me get a little crispy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, tighten it up.
Yeah.
But when you see yourself in the mirror like that, you're like, yeah, motherfucker, that's a motherfucker.
As he was lining me up, I'm like making those kissy faces, like, nah, you know, but yeah, but that's cool though. So she does that, you do this. So like, I hate to use that term like power couple, but Jesus, I feel like when I see you guys, I that might be the example, right? Like, you know,
man,
you guys are out there doing conventions, supply companies, like multiple tattoo studios. She's doing fucking seminar, you know,
and they have the 2 locations too.
Between the 2 of you, I'm sure you guys got your hands full, but it seems like you guys are just doing it like very like lightly. Like, it doesn't seem like stressful in a way, like, well, at least from the outside.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's stress in it, but actually, like, you know, the convention, that shit is stressful. Like that. It's well, this last one, especially because with the venue, you know, it was like.
Is that you?
Oh man,
that's all good.
I thought I had that turned off. My bad, bro.
That's all good. I mean, with the amount of businesses you run,
we're getting heavy right there. The amount of stress with the convention, that was some stress. And with our venue, we only had. We signed the contract with the venue 5 months before the expo, the last one. So it was like we only had 5 months for everything, but we had already had, you know, an expo we canceled from COVID, and people had deposits down and all that. So it was kind of, you know, it was probably pretty much it was for the most part already sold out.
Yeah, I see. So you kind of had like the capital already in hand, and you were able to kind of.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Like, obviously, even just going to a convention could be stressful. So I can imagine managing, you know, and starting one. But what's step one? Like, what do you do first step when you're running a convention? Like,
step one? Well, first you have to have the idea and come up with the name and, you know, the business and all that. And then really the venue, you know, that's, man, but there's so much to it. There's so many moving parts. You got to get... some venues are different. Some venues already have, like, you know, stages. You know, like the first one we did, it was a music venue.
So they have the staging and the sound system and the PA and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And other ones you might have to get like a temporary stage and rent like a
but
PA.
And some of them have it where you can bring your own people, and then some of it have it like, no, you have to use our people.
Like our food vendors and all that stuff.
Everything, yeah, for the electrical stage, lighting, and they're like, man, that's where they really just hammer it too.
Oh, because then you have to pay for those add-ons and stuff like that too.
As opposed to where, you know, every time I've done it, I've gotten a venue, you know, man, I don't want to give everybody the game right now.
No,
I'm messing in. but hey, that game, that came from some blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
But
I could see all them. I could imagine, like, from like just a managerial standpoint, like all of them. Because now, is it one of those things? Do you have all these things on paper beforehand, or are you just like dealing with things as they arise, or a little bit of both?
Well, yeah, both. We had a blueprint. You know, we obviously we did our first one, and then when we did our the second show, we already had a blueprint. Mm-hmm. But you know, it was a different venue because the first venue shut down during COVID. And, you know, there's so many different things, like unknowns that at the very end that were popping up that, you know, the venue wasn't clear with us. We weren't clear with them. But, man, I learned so much with that.
Yeah, and as you go, you gain experience. And you can adapt from there and all that stuff. But like you said, depending on the venue, there's different problems.
Yeah, you really want to be able to contract get your own quotes, because if it's a venue and they just have their people, they're about to. Their people are getting their pockets greased by them, and it's just they're gonna hammer it to you because they're the only people you can use.
Like you can have food vendors, but they have to be these three we say, like stuff like that.
Or a lot of them will have just one.
It's kind of like a wedding venue in a way.
Yeah,
like I remember when I was going through that, like it's like a DIY, but you get all your own contractors, or it's like or you pay a lot more through this venue, but they supply it, and they got the bartender, but it's like 10 times the fucking price because they're just like, then get out of here.
Shit, if you got money like that, some people have that fuck off money, and then some people don't have the fuck off money. So it's like, that's,
Yeah.
Even if I had fuck off money, I still act like I don't have fuck off money.
Well, that's
so
how
you get the better deal.
That's how you remain having fuck off money, right?
Exactly.
That's crazy. So you guys skipped this year was 22.
Yeah. What happened? Actually, the venue we were at, which you were there, the hotel. There's just some issues, with getting our payment from them after the expo, and and then there was just a lot of stuff factors involved, like with the hotel, and they didn't work with us. They didn't give us one free room,
or like some kind of discount code for attendees or something.
Yeah, and then the drinks. You remember? Like I don't know if you remember, but like on the convention floor, that was crazy. Like the amount of price that everybody was complaining about, like the Red Bulls were like $13.
I was like raised in the suburbs of New York City, so
I mean,
for me it was like cheap.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding, but like really, like when you go out and get a couple drinks in New York, it's like $20 for a beer. Or some shit.
There's just a bunch of things with the venue, and so we're changing the venue, and we're actually today we have 4 different weekends that are available with the venue we're gonna use. So we're just like researching those weekends, like events in Dallas. You just got to kind of see if any other events, it could be like a damn Comic-Con or something. Yeah. A lot of you want a lot of nerds are tattooed, so you want the nerds to be able to come to the expo or whatever. So you were just trying to find the best weekend that doesn't compete with any of that. But it's going to be next June, not next June, August or September. One of those 3. That's where the dates that are available, the weekends are in those months.
Sure. And I don't do the conventions I used to, but I plan on doing yours. I was just talking about it with Sivak, where he was saying, man, we will go.
Yeah,
I
said,
fuck yeah.
Sivak's cool, man.
Yeah. He was just here, and he was, and I told him you're coming. He said, oh, Brandon from convention.
Yeah, he tattooed one of my front desk guy was here the other day.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Super cool. So yeah, he was saying, man, we will go together to convention. I said, fuck yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited about that, That'll be dope.
See, did he have his cowboy? Was he tattooing in cowboy boots the whole time he was here?
He didn't even get a pair.
I remember last time he was here, he had some. He's like, I bought them. Yeah, he's like, I bought them just for the trip. I'm like, hell yeah.
He said he was gonna get a new pair, but it's probably my fault. I never really took them. But he did ask to get barbecue a second time, which I thought was cool. Man, this barbecue food's so fucking good.
It is very fucking good. I haven't had Terry Black shit. I need to check.
But they have one in Dallas too. Yeah.
I haven't got a chance to go over there and
I go there like 2 times a week. It's almost like weird. Yeah. I'm like an ambassador
fucking
of Terry
arteries
Black.
Are getting thick, boy.
Yeah. Well, I did the carnivore. No, but I do the carnivore and keto diet.
Okay.
So I don't eat I need the fat. You know what I'm saying? It's
so
like it's like part that
it's
or
not
my
excess.
That or my exactly because I literally did carnivore diet for like 90 days and then off and on I cycle. I lost like 60
I was looking. I was like, man, you did slim up.
Yeah. It was just like eating carnivore and keto. So I don't eat any carbs.
Well, shit,
I drink some whiskey, But
but there's not really too much carbs.
No,
to this.
There's no carbs. Yeah.
Thank God. I'm not a bourbon guy, but hey, it tastes good.
Yeah, you do what you got to do,
But so the whole, we'll be doing that. We just dropped a little teaser video, so we'll announce it.
Hell yeah.
I wish I had the dates. I could have told you. I could have said it on this, so that by the time this drops.
We'll shout it out.
Yeah, that'll be dope.
Another one.
Hell yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. So yeah, we got that going. I got a little boy on the way too.
Congrats. So, how many kids do you have?
Well, between we're gonna have 4 total.
Okay.
Between my wife and I.
So you guys got your hands full, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We will for sure with the new baby. Yeah, for sure.
I couldn't imagine planning a convention, the baby. You guys are.
That's you got to start delegating things out to other people, man. You can't just do it all yourself, and that's like, man, when you're trying to, grow in any business, man, you gotta like give up control of certain things, certain areas, and just delegate, because it's like, damn, what is my time worth sitting here, on the computer looking up these prices of this shit and making all these orders and or going and doing these advertisements myself, so at some point you just gotta start delegating it out, and it pays for itself,
And time is the most valuable currency you can have, right?
Exactly.
And that's something I'm trying to learn now, because I always wanted to do everything myself, because I feel like no one could do it better than me. No one cares as much as I do. Right. Even with doing this, like I'm like, oh no, I want to edit it because someone's not going to edit it, right?
This is different though. This is like your little brainchild,
like a passion
thing
project
right now. But maybe after, say, a year from now, you're like, hey man, you start getting so busy, booked up doing it and shit, you don't want to fuck with nothing. You might have your guy, like you might hire a little AV sound guy, like, hey bro, this is how I like my shit, and show him how you like it. And so, I'm
already ready for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, because then you could just focus on doing it, not actually like the stuff that comes before and after. Yeah. Like kind of like what you're saying, like you have somebody look, you just need to know the prices, and then you're going to tell what you want to decide which one you want to choose.
Right.
But you don't want to spend the time like finding the prices.
Yeah, the trivial shit.
Yeah.
The shit that makes you really think hard.
But the reality too, though, I guess, is that no one's ever going to care as much as you. But I guess you don't delegate those things where that matters most.
Yeah, right. I mean, and with anything, as long as like the more involved an owner is, it's going to be different. But then, there's like, look at all these corporations out there that they're fucking killing it. Sure. And they figured out a system and a model, and they implemented that, and that's what it is, and the structure and.
Yeah, well, somebody built a machine from the top down, right?
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's interesting. So did you always have like a business mind? Like, is that, or
man, I have actually, but but actually, not always in a good sense, because before tattooing, I was like, but actually how I got into tattooing was, because I was, I got into some trouble, committing some crimes, and got put on some, paper, and didn't make the paper when I was real young. And I mean, we can talk about all that if you want to too.
Yeah, as long as you want. Yeah.
So we, when I was younger, actually, you asked me about business. So I've always been had an entrepreneurial mind.
Sure.
So
and that's what I was wondering. Is that something like one acquires later? Or is that something you start off with? Like,
Man, no, I'm always like, I was, I don't want to laugh or make it sound like it was fun or good or anything, because it wasn't. But it's like, that's where I came from. That's like my story, and that's what built. That's what that was my foundation of what I had. Obviously, when I was younger, I was really involved in the streets and drugs and violence and guns and all that that comes with it. Like, and I was like, and my mindset has always been the same. Like with sports, with crime, with freaking tattooing. I'm like, man, if I do this shit, I'm gonna do it the best. I'm gonna be like I'm gonna be that motherfucker. You know? Like that's.
I mean, I share that with you, but maybe I had a little bit different of a path per se.
Right.
But I still have that, like, it's gonna be the best. It's gonna be the most extreme. Like,
exactly. It's like they say, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. It's like ADHD or some shit too. I almost feel, or something. Like, yeah. Like looking for dopamine rushes from like conquering something.
Right. Like, I mean, I think it's just the ego, probably human nature, ego. You get that little fucking rush.
Yeah.
From whatever.
It's probably built into like our evolutionary code,
Right. Yeah.
So where were you living? So when you were engaging in this like street violence, as you mentioned, like where were you?
Drug dealing, street violence. I was in Dallas, Texas.
Okay, so still where you're from, where you live now.
Yeah.
So that's where you're from.
Yeah. I'm originally from Amarillo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Amarillo, Texas. So, it's up in the Panhandle. Like, there's nothing but fucking dust, farms, cattle ranches, and fucking tumbleweeds up there.
Yeah. So when did you go to Dallas?
When I was 11 years old.
Okay. Yeah. So young.
Yeah.
So you grew up mostly in Dallas. Like in your formative years, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my stomping area. Yeah, that was my stomping ground. Through school. What school? I was a high school dropout, so I made it to like the 10th grade. So, and then that's when that obviously the drugs and streets and all that bullshit. That was the cause of the dropout, but here I am now. I got in some trouble, went to prison. I got sentenced to an 18-year sentence, and I did 10 years on the 18-year sentence.
Damn. So you were in there for 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Damn.
10 years flat. Yep.
Yeah. And so what did you exactly get caught up? Like, what were you doing? What was the charges?
Okay, so I had a aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon, and I had a a cocaine with a possession and intent to distribute, and I also had a sex crime, which I actually just got. Well, man, there's a whole story behind all this shit. I actually got it.
I'm here for it.
I actually dropped a video on my Instagram because once I started getting the sex crime, I say sex crime, that sounds fucked up. It was, a Romeo and Juliet case. That's what it was, because they changed the law. And here, right before the last Expo, after I finished parole and all that shit, they changed the law in 2011 where if there's sex between two consensual minors that were 15 and 18, then it's not even a crime anymore.
Oh.
And I was in prison whenever this law got changed, and they made it retroactive where you can go back and apply and petition to the court where they'll take you off of all that shit and they'll take you off the registry, all that. Mm-hmm. So that was like a big issue I had to deal with, especially once I started doing really good work, getting sponsors and my name, and motherfuckers just started coming out the woodworks. Oh, like this dude, this, like just, trying to, really slander me when it was like, the girl was 15 and I was 18, and it was one of those. We went to the same fucking high school.
It was like your high school sweetheart.
Neighborhood. Yeah,
I get that. I mean, here that's like normal almost.
Yeah, but it was a crime. But I had a robbery charge where we actually freaking kicked the door. We kicked in a dope house's door and went and fucking tied people up and robbed them for their fucking drugs and money and shit like that. That's the kind of I was just doing some crazy shit. So I had all that. It was like all wrapped up into one, it was like within a year I got like three fucking felonies. I was bonded out, boom, boom, boom. It was like the year of the.
You were doing this with your girlfriend? You said?
With my girlfriend?
Oh,
no. I was doing this shit by myself. Like it was just,
So that was the move. You'd rob the dope house.
Yeah,
of their dope and then go resell it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was. Yeah. I mean, or to use some of it or whatever.
So you were using it as well.
Yeah. I mean, mainly mainly marijuana, but there was a time in my life, man. I got involved. I was taking some pills and stuff like that, and obviously using some like cocaine and stuff that. Yeah. But
you were just out there. You were playing GTA in real life.
Man, bro. Yeah, I was headed for actually all my group of friends that I grew up with, that we were all involved in that together. There's two of them that made it. One of them, he went to the Navy, and one of them, he's still locked up. Like the other, like 6 of our little, posse that we had, they're all dead, OD'd, died. One of them got murdered. Like, so it was like, that's like the path I was on. So whenever I got in all that trouble, that's what I was saying, within a year period, I got, I got the robbery charge. I got the charge for, with the girl. And then I got the charge for cocaine. It was just like boom, 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 boom. And I got probation. And bro, they let me out. I went to county jail and they let me out. And I'm still this kid with this same mindset. They let me out a couple months later and I got probation. But to me, I'm like, I'm free. So I just,
went right back.
Went right back.
And then did you catch another charge at that point?
No, actually, I just never went back and reported. And, they just eventually caught up to me.
Oh, and they picked you up. So yeah.
Picked me up. And actually, it was like they had to come catch me, though. It was a whole chase.
Oh, you were out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you were like a fugitive, essentially.
Yeah, I was a fugitive. Yeah. But anyways, I got caught. I don't want to glorify that because it was not glorified. I know I was smiling.
No, but it's part of your story, man. Yeah, I mean, what else can you do now? I mean, if you're living in the present now, I mean, you got a lot going on for you. You own what, 2 shops?
Yeah, 2 shops. We're actually working on the contract for the third one right now.
For the third shop, you got a supply company?
Supply, yeah. We have an online, storefront and a, mobile truck that does deliveries and routes.
I mean, your wife's out there giving seminars.
Yeah,
You're running conventions. So
I like
doing it
now.
I'd like to say that shit turned around, so I think you should laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
What else should you do?
Yeah. No, you're right. I just don't, some people, they'll be like, oh, man, this motherfucker's glorifying crime or something. But
well, everyone's got another path, their own path, I should say, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that you're glorifying it.
That was my story. Like you said, it's part of my story.
You're talking freely about the reality of what is your life. I mean, I think it's
right.
That's
a little bit of my.
What should you do? Cry about it? You know what I mean? Then you'd be like a victim and like never,
Right.
It's like it seems like you're not hanging on to it so much.
Nah,
that you're
hell
able,
no. The only thing the only reminder I get from it is like it's crazy, man. Like. When I started a convention, there's dudes that did conventions. I'm not going to name names or nothing like that because I would never want to, I don't hate on people and I don't want to give anybody that is a hater, like, why would I give them a mention at all,
Mm-hmm.
But, there's like other people that do conventions and they started like putting the rumors like, oh, this dude's this, this dude's that, this dude's this. And then like I opened the supply company. There's a dude, he is like going out of his way. He has a supply company too.
Damn.
You know, and he's going out of his way to email all my sponsors, email all the companies.
Yeah.
But bro, it's like, bro, I do these conventions. I'm in this shit, bro. These people know me. You don't think they haven't heard and talked to me about this shit already?
Yeah.
So, but I keep getting, you know, they'll email me, message me like, hey, dude, what's up with this guy? Who's this guy? And I'm like, oh man, this fucking
it's interesting because
relentless.
I've had problems with people in the tattoo industry before, and they were talking about like, oh, we need to change the world and we need to see change in the world. But then they don't accept change in people.
Right.
Right. So like if like you're out there like yelling and screaming and bidding for change and you want to see change, you know, like whatever with the government or like the police or like whatever. But yet you don't want to make like you're not going to afford you the ability to change. You know what I mean? Like so I think like me, the way I interface the world is how people treat me now. Like so like I know when I met you, like the feelings I got and the relationship I built like with you.
You can feel energy, bro.
What does it matter?
Yeah, exactly.
What you did or didn't do or whatever. Like I just know how I met you and how you treated me.
Right.
So like, why should anything else matter? I mean,
exactly.
Like, for me, that's the most bizarre ass shit.
It is.
I just deal with people the way they treat me.
Right.
And that's it. I don't care what I heard, what someone told me. Like that's crazy to me.
Right.
Yeah.
It is, but it's like, man, I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Anytime, man, you see it with all kinds of people. You know, like any kind of look at any kind of like athlete or you know influencer or something like anybody that makes it to a certain status of success. Any little chink in somebody's armor, somebody can find. They're like, oh, it's like, you know, it's like
they're
what
like
the
acting
hell,
like
bro?
Just because somebody had some success with something that they were supposed to be
perfect. Yeah, exactly.
It's
man.
like they're still a human being,
bro. Everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. Hey, I made a lot of mistakes, but you know, you make mistakes. I'm gonna keep. I might make another mistake.
I might
today.
even raise you a little further. In fact, I don't even think you could achieve those types of levels of success if you didn't make a mistake.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I think you better get out there and fucking scrape your knees and start making some goddamn mistakes.
If it's self-made success, you know, everybody, because, you know, there's people, they were born into money, born into success.
Yeah.
You don't have to do shit.
Yeah.
But if somebody's a self-made person, they definitely made many of mistakes on the path to get to that fucking success.
And I could relate that to somebody like learning how to tattoo or something too. Like, you know, like you talk to like apprentices or young people and they're like, oh, you know, like their client might walk out and they're like, oh, I janked that line. And I'm like, honestly, you know what I say to them sometimes? It's good. Because I did that when I started, and now I maybe don't do it because I did it already. You know what I mean? Now it's your fucking turn.
Yeah.
Jank the damn line, and then go home, feel bad about it. You know what I mean? And
misspell
then
that fucking word.
Yeah, and then don't do it again. You know? Yeah. Maybe you will too one day. I'm not saying you won't, but that feeling of like that shitty feeling of janking the line or you know fucking up the shitting. That's what you need to feel that. What are you gonna do?
And if you don't feel that, that's where you're fucked. And that's where you're never gonna succeed.
Yeah, but you need do it, feel it, and then learn from it. It's like this. It's like simple, you know. It's like it's not easy.
You could make a book. Do it, feel it, learn from it. The 3 steps of Bobby Cupparo. You can make a badass self. That's the precursor to your whole self-help book.
Yeah, maybe you can help me with the plan. You know, because unlike you, it's not that I'm not. I'm business minded in like a very untraditional way. I always like to say if I were to relate myself to like a musician, I'm like Jimi Hendrix, you know, like playing an upside down guitar, like, but I'll still
going with the flow.
You'll still know who I am, and I'll still do things, and I'll still find successes, but I'm not gonna do it like in such a I don't know, like a
strategized way.
Yeah. But you're still going to know who I am. You know what I mean?
Right. No, that makes sense.
That's like how I kind of roll.
People, everybody is like, you know, people learn differently. People, it's just everybody is their own, you know, person of how they, you know, do things.
Yeah. And that's cool. Like, I like that.
The world needs that.
It does.
You know, the world needs that.
It does. I think about that sometimes too. Like I'll see somebody being dumb, like, you know, driving fucking dangerously or something. I'm like, what a dumbass, you know? But then I realize like, that's like, who's going to be the dishwasher? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and I don't mean that to be like mean, but like, but like, there's levels to everything.
It's like an ant colony. I'm sure they have their little, you know, network or whatever.
That's what I mean.
Like, you know, the ant colony needs every ant to, you know, survive. So
exactly,
you know, work. So
like, I mean, if everyone was so smart and connected and the top level thinker, then who would help operate the business that like we need?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like everyone would be Jeff Bezos, but there'd be no delivery guys.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. It wouldn't work.
Yeah,
it would turn into a world war for sure, and then the last man standing would win, and then there wouldn't be any men left because the strongest one did whatever. The world would just be over. I'm pretty sure, but
yeah, it's like the hierarchy of just existence, I guess, right? It's like built into the nature. So then, you went, I should say, how old were you when you went to jail?
Well, when I went to jail, when I first caught all the charges, I was 18.
Oh, you were young. Man.
Yeah, I was young, and I got put on. Well, I was actually in the county for a year.
At
the county jail. From 18, and from 18 to 19, I was in the county for a year.
But there was no tattooing in your life at this point.
No, there was no tattooing. I had always been an artist, though. I could always draw.
Yeah, fix that shit.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I could always draw. Since I was a kid, I've always been able to draw. I could look at something and draw it. Ninja Turtles or whatever. X-Men. Comic books, all that. And then I got into doing portraits and stuff. I could always draw from.
That's how I was. Just in you.
Yeah. It was just there.
That's how I am too. Just like people like, how'd you know that? I'm like, I don't know. I just know how to do it. Yeah.
It just comes. But obviously you got to work at it and you can learn.
Of course.
But obviously when I got locked up for the 10 years.
Did you go
when
hard?
I was 20. Oh, that's all I did. Yeah. That's all I did was, I remember, I would draw on that because that's a currency in there. Art is a currency, it's, just like out here, whether it's, tattoo art or, drawing, a board or some on whatever any kind of
you draw medium. For another inmate and they can mail it home, right?
Exactly. Actually, that was like my job. I was the unit artist. Like the last few years when I was in prison, I was the unit artist. So I had I could just go around the whole unit, and they needed they would do like murals on the wall, and you could paint little signs here and there and shit. And they had a craft shop where everybody could people do metalwork, woodwork, leatherwork. Painting.
But this was like official through the jail.
Yeah. That was like my job,
like actual job.
Yeah. So the first 4 years I was in there, I was actually they have farms. It's literal fucking slave work, bro. They work you on the farm in Texas heat.
Where were you locked in Dallas area?
No. Well, I was all. They bounced me around Texas, like Palestine, like South Texas, East Texas. A few different units, but if you're in there and you're able-bodied, they make you work. They don't pay you. So they make your ass work. If you're able-bodied, you're gonna work.
And what are these farms for?
That's like food,
But for the jail or for other?
For the jail. The jail. It's for the jail. But yeah, that was that was the first 4 years. That's what I did in there. I farmed. We worked. It's crazy. They have the guards there on horses, like cowboys, with fucking rifles and guns and shit. And they got these dogs. Like if somebody takes off, they'll send the dogs after them. It's crazy.
Damn.
And they just have you out there. Any kind of fruit, vegetable. Anything that grows in Texas, they have it.
So did you feel like you gained any farming skills that you still have now? Like if you had to make a garden in your yard.
Actually, my wife and I were talking about we're gonna start a garden. Yeah, we're gonna start one. But man, because we would do everything, and they do everything. A lot of obviously the long rows, they use a machine to plow it, but all the maintenance and all that they have you do everything by hand.
So you almost learned like a skill a little bit, is what I'm saying?
Kinda, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Like you probably know how to farm more than I do.
There's a certain with plants like the garden plants, you just have to the time of year that you plant them and all that. Obviously keep them watered every day and all that. It's gonna grow. But man, it's so easy to grow something like in a garden. It's real easy.
Were you growing weed before this?
No. I actually had a couple friends that. War, but not.
No, because I was wondering, like in your drug dealing days, if you had already knew about gardening or not.
No, I wish maybe I wouldn't have gotten into that side of it. But actually, one of my friends, friend that I did tell you that was locked up, that's what he's in there for, because conspiracy. He had 5 grow houses there in Dallas, and that's what he's in the feds. They got him with, it was like a RICO act. And so he got 40 years in the feds.
Damn.
And so you do get 40 years in the feds, you're gone. You don't get no halftime, or a quarter of your time. You got to do like 3/4, off the rip. That's it.
Yeah.
So
he's in there for a long time.
Yeah.
When did he get locked up? Around like 18 as well? Or?
No. He actually got locked up. Like when I was coming out, he was going in. So he had built like a network, and he had like gambling houses, and he had like a whole. That's why that he got so much time, because he had like a whole criminal network like under him type of thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
So he's in there for a hot minute.
He's in there for a minute. Yeah, he actually messages me on Facebook.
They let
quite
them
often.
use it?
Nah, people in there, you can get anything in there. You can get drugs, freaking phones, like whatever. And so he has like a, account, and he has I don't know if he pays to use somebody else's phone or whatever, but he's always messaging me on Facebook. Hey, what's up, bro?
That's crazy that they could do that.
Yeah. It's, man, in there, it's a whole nother world inside there. There's drugs, prostitution, phones, like anything that you could think of, they have. It's on. If you want to get it and get into that shit, you can get into it in there. But I mean, it's if you're trying, like me, I was trying to do good and go home, But,
so if you get caught with that, it's just extending your fucking.
Oh yeah, you get caught with the phone. It's like it's almost like considered like an aid to escape type of thing. They treat that
it's like
real
some big
serious.
time.
Yeah.
It's
not like if you get in a fight or some shit. You get in a fight or something. Yeah, it can like. Set you back, but there's certain places that are rough and you gotta fight. So it's like you're walking around with black eyes. It's like, that's just what it is,
So do you have any stories? Like, did you get into some good fights?
You
got good size.
Yeah. That was a good advantage for me. So like, I was obviously young and I've always been like athletic, football player.
Yeah.
So
you were able to hold your own.
Yeah. And I was like getting ready when I knew I had a sentence, when I was going to prison, I'm fucking 20 years old. That's like peak of your testosterone. So I'm like fucking 100 push-ups at a time, 50 pull-ups.
Okay, so you went in there like ready.
I was ready. So like, I remember the first day when I actually got to a real, so you got to go through like a transfer process. It's usually, a year. And then you go to like a real unit, like a maximum security prison. Okay. And actually, when I first got my sentence, I didn't have that mindset like, I'm trying to go home, because I had 18 years. I'm fucking 20. By this time, I'm 21 when I'm getting to prison.
Pumping through your fucking veins. Ego, chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, so it's like, man, you can't tell me shit,
you're
bro.
You're a badass out there on the streets, and now you're like, yeah, fuck this shit. I'm in here for 18 years. You can't even... not to interrupt you, but what is that like when you get that news? Like, I'm going in here for 18 years. What goes through your mind?
Bro, it was like the most devastating feeling I ever had in my life. When the judge, because I did like an open plea, because I had went on, whenever you sign for probation, you're pretty much... like, hey, I'm agreeing to do this probation. If I don't fit or meet these terms, then I'm agreeing to possibly get the maximum sentence that this crime carries.
So I don't know much how that works. So you could you could take like some bargain, but you're like, I don't want to do that. You're saying I
took
went
the bargain,
for a big gamble,
and I fucking didn't uphold my end of it.
So if you didn't fuck up on probation, you don't do any time.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. And like nothing goes like that. It's like a deferred adjudicated. They like nothing goes on the record, all that shit.
So all you had to do was like during that probation period, how long?
10 years.
But you would have just had to done a clean 10 years.
10 years, yeah. But at that, it sounds easy.
I get that, but you're just not in the mind state.
No, I was in a whole different.
Do you almost think you needed what happened? Like,
exactly. Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like my group of running buddies, they're like what I saw their, their end game was. It's like, man, that's where I was headed. So it saved me.
It was like a savior. It
saved me. Yeah, it did. It did. So like the first like half of my sentence, I went in and I had the mindset like, fuck everybody, fuck you can't tell me shit. Like, like I was like, and I was, obviously angry because I'm like, I was a victim. I'm like, man, I got fucked over about the system, this and that. In my mind, that was my mindset. But fuck this. I was like, and so like that's actually my first year when I was in prison, when I was out in the garden. And this is a funny story, actually. This is the first time I really ever got jammed up and roughed up by any kind of law enforcement. Mm-hmm. But we were out in the fields. This is July in Texas. Bro, right now it's June and it's already 109?
Something like that.
Middle of July, you're out there, bro. There's not even nothing growing. By that time, bro, these fields, it's all dry. There's nothing
dormant, right?
Nothing, bro. And they have us picking these dry ass weeds. They're like for no reason. On our hands and knees in the heat, picking this shit. And there's this lady. She was, they call her boss lady or whatever. She's on her horse. Like, come on in, mate. So I get up and I fucking throw my weeds at her. I'm like, here, you come pick this shit. Fuck that. And I sat down. Man, that was the wrong thing to do. That was the wrong thing to do. But, that right there immediately got me put into like a different custody level. So at that custody level, I was like a normal, population. Yeah. So after I did that, they put me in a medium custody where you're in a cell for, they put you in there for at least a year. You're in the cell for 22 hours a day. You have a cellie, a cellmate. And you get to go out for a shower, an hour of rec, and to go eat, and an hour of day room. You know, so no, actually, so 21 hours is how long you're in the cell. But yeah, that's actually when I came to a maximum security prison. That's the custody level I came into on that maximum unit. And that's like, you got to think, the max unit, you got lifers in there. You got people in there, murder, robbery, fucking
nothing to
gang
lose.
bang, fucking, it's crazy, yeah.
So those lifer guys are more wild, you would say, because they have nothing to lose, or are they more calm because they've like already accepted their fate in a way?
It's usually an age thing, really. That's like when they keep people like in like as I got, you know, obviously I went from 20 to 30 in prison. So it's like, as I got to 30, they moved me to different places with more of my age group. So when you come in, you're in there with like 18, 19, 20, the 18 to, like my age group is usually like 18 to 25. You know, there'll be some 30-year-olds in there, but it's like mainly 18 to 25-year-old, just fucking bottom of the barrel, every fucking fucked up neighborhood in Texas you could think of, hood, ghetto, whatever, like, just everything in there, you know, like fucking trailer park, fucking, and it's like, just people in there. You got some shitty people in there. There's some good people in there too. Biggest egos in the world. Oh man, aggressive, young energy. Nowhere to get out your energy. Yeah, man, people get their energy out, but it's, you know, but it's like not in the way that would be healthy, conducive to anything. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, it's crazy. It's very interesting. Yeah, because actually I know a lot about the jail system because my dad and brother are corrections officers. Oh no shit. Yeah. So I always heard, like, you know, a lot of these stories from the other, you know, from their side. And see, there's some on the correction officer side. There's some really, really, really cool fucking correctional officers. Yeah. And then you got some really, really fucking dicks, and know? I could confidently say that I know that they were on the cool side. For real, it's like my family, you know. Why wouldn't you be? Yeah. Bro, you're like, literally, if you decide to be a corrections officer, you're going in. You're in jail to this fucking like lion's den with these inmates. It's actually a weird job, in my opinion. It is. It's the craziest selection you could make in life. Man, it's like, hey, what am I gonna do for the next like 30 years of my life for like 50 hours a week or something? I'll go hang out in jail. Jail, yeah. I'm gonna go hang out in these fuckers' house and in this murderer's house. The food. It's a real fucked up job, actually, that I wish on nobody. Yeah. And I hear their stories, and I've seen the stress from like my brother or something like that. Like, it's not. I don't think it's easy shit to deal with. No, it doesn't matter whether you work there or whether you're in there. If you're in like, you know, like a maximum place where there's like gang activity, you're going to see some traumatic shit. That's what I'm saying. Whether you want to or not. From its absolute value standpoint, it's a very traumatic place to be. It is, yeah. And there's probably some level of like PTSD associated with it, I would imagine. Oh yeah, for sure. And there's different levels of that. Do you feel like when you left there was like some like period where you like kind of carried some of that shit with you? Or man, was it hard to sleep? Was it? It was more of a culture shock than anything, because when I went in, bro, they barely had iPods and fucking MySpace. When you went in? Yeah, when I went in. How old are you now? I'm 41 now. So you went in at 18? I've been out since 2014. Okay, but you went in 2000 It was I went in for 10 years. So 2004 was when I went in. Okay. Yeah. 2004 I was graduating, like I was in like 9th grade. That's when the Yankees lost to the Red Sox when they were up 3-0. Okay, I'm trying to like put myself in that time period. Okay, so that's when you went in, and then you got out in 14. I was tattooing already for a year. Yeah. So let me understand this. So then you get out in 2014, and do you find tattooing right away? Oh yeah. That was definitely what I knew I was gonna do before I got out, because, you know, I tattooed, I dabbled in there. I know there's so much, you know, you're asking about the fighting and all that. There's so much that goes on in that 10 years in there. But that was where I got my, you know, that was where I started tattooing. So you did do a tattoo in jail at some point. I did quite a few in jail. Oh, well, actually. I want to know about that. So were you doing it with the Walkman motor, guitar string, into the pen? I started when I first was in the county, you know, you don't have access to a lot. So, you know, I was picking. Hand poke. What do you have, like tattoos. One sewing needle or something? Well, or a staple. You get, you know, you have a book, a magazine. You get a staple out. And, you know, put it on the end of something else. Get a piece of you get a piece of, you know, sandpaper. If there's a piece of rough concrete, you sharpen it up real good, and then you boil it with some bleach or whatever you got access to, and you make you just put it mount it inside of a pen. You know, take the little ballpoint out of a pen, mount it in there, and you're.
Oh, and the ink will drop itself from the pen, or you just dip it in?
Dip. Yeah, you just dip.
Were you using pen ink from a pen, or were you melting a checker? Or
well, yeah,
melting a boot.
Well, I actually learned. It was crazy how I learned to. When I first got locked up, there was this Mexican mafia dude there. His name was Jesse, and this dude could draw like badass cholo, just like badass shit, you know, just freehanded. It was beautiful. To me, at this time, I had never been exposed to that kind of art, and I would just watch him drawing envelopes, and I was enticed by that kind of art, because I was like, damn, this is fucking crazy. I've never seen anybody just do this like in person like that.
So you're like actually learning in there. Way. Now, where do you see this? Like when you get that hour in rec or whatever, well, it's a day room, the county jail. You just sit out in the day room, in prison too, in the day room. Yeah. But, he'd just be in the day room drawing. But anyways, he showed me how to make ink, because he had been to prison already for 10 years, got out, and he was on his way back again for fucking like a hit or some shit he had did for the Mexican mafia, some crazy shit. Yeah. But he showed me a way you get a Coke can, actually. You just, cut it in half, and you get some pomade, or it's pretty much like, or, like Vaseline, whatever. You fill it up, get a piece of toilet paper, twist the wick, stick it in there, light it, and it becomes a candle, and then you just build a little, like a little housing. And create soot.
Yeah.
And then do you scrape the soot off and water it down?
Oh, yeah. A little water, maybe a drop of shampoo to kind of, So.
Because I heard that people would do that with, that they would take like a toilet paper roll, cover the top, and then they would burn like a boot or a checker up into that, and it would collect soot. Yeah. And then you cut the paper towel open and shave that shit off.
And then you put like a little ceiling on it too, and it'll have like a little pile of shit just right there built up, like a nice.
And that's like pigment.
Oh yeah, it's pigment. Yeah.
Is it good? It's like
carbon. I mean, yeah, it's. You can mix it pretty good, actually.
And you get like shades with it.
Oh yeah, well.
But no real black.
Nah, it wasn't. No, you could never just really get that. When I went, when I got to, like the real prison, you could get your hands on whatever the fuck you wanted. Oh, then you could get a bottle of ink. Yeah, you could get a bottle of ink or whatever, or they had like a craft shop. You could order India ink. Yeah, you could order all that shit.
I did my first tattoo with India ink in the back of my art room in high school. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Funny. Yeah, so... Yeah, that's, I started from the hand poking, and then I got rotary machines in there. You get little relay motors from adding machines. You build something. Or, I could make one by hand, an electromagnetic coil wrap. That was one of the first machines I learned how to make. You get a screw. You have to build, a base, and then you just get, we have those fans in there, and they have that coil in there for the fan motor. And that with that coated wire, you just...
So when you take apart the fan, though, in jail to do that, you have to disassemble your fan. Now, do the prison guards wonder like why your fan's all fucking disassembled?
No, normally it would be like some fan you get off of the street per se in there. That somebody it was like a shitty fan that burned out or went out or something. People have all that wire to make speakers. People make handmade speakers.
Really?
Yeah, bro, it's crazy. Yeah, you get a magnet and make a little coil, and that's how you make the sound. You connect the current to it,
and then where do you get the player? Like what would you play?
Oh, you have a radio in there, but that was out. It's just like a little like a alarm clock radio, like plastic alarm clock radio. And I would even run my it would depend on the tattoo machine that I had, like those relays that were like a lower voltage, that you had to have like a circuit, breaker. Yeah. You could just connect that to like your volume button and zzz.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like and change the speeds on it. Yeah.
So now, but what about like, don't they ever like look through your room? Like you have to hide all this shit?
Yeah. Oh, well, see, I always had like a designated like mule. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm going to tattoo you. Like I'll give you a tattoo for free every month. You just hold on to like if I got a tattoo machine, my ink, if I got cash money, if I got cigarettes, if I got weed or whatever, I wasn't really, I didn't really keep a lot of, but in there tattooing, like, that's what currency is, like cash. You got cigarettes, you got commissary, you got weed, and they got heavier drugs and all that stuff.
Now, if you got weed though in jail, where do you smoke it?
Oh, I mean, they have like a vent in every cell, and then there's like people, like you can get like a bottle, like say if this is a bottle, but, we get little plastic hot sauce bottles. You cut a hole in the lid, stick the joint, on the inside of it, and put the, light the joint, have it on the inside of the bottle. And then you have the joint right here. So the bottle's actually catching all the smoke. And the smoke that you hit and inhale, you can get a towel and roll it up and put baby powder in the towel.
And hold it in as long as you
hold it in. Yeah, because you're getting a little bitty, bro, a joint in there. It's like $20 and you're getting like fucking 2 or 3 puffs off of it.
Oh,
It's
but you're
like,
holding it in and just
yeah, and you just blow it. You know, you can. And then in some prisons, man, it's like, dude, you smell weed every fucking where.
and like it's like hard for them. They almost like they don't want to work either and shit, kind of.
Yeah, bro, you got to think a lot of these officers, especially like when I was near Dallas, you know, most of the officers are like from South Dallas and shit. It's like, you know, they're like some girls, like they're like people from the hood. They don't give a fuck. They're like, shit, whatever,
they got a
bro.
good job,
like, do what you do. No, don't fuck with me. I ain't fucking with you. I'm here to get my check. Like,
There's a little of that going on too.
Yeah,
and you start to know their shifts and who cares more.
You know who's cool and who's not. You know, who's cool and who's. There's some officers, like when I would tattoo, there'll be, you know, there were some officers I would not even attempt it because you get
while
in trouble
they're on work. Yeah. But then there's other ones, you know, the guy's lazy a little bit.
Or they'll come and they'll be like, man, let me see what you are. You know, they'll be interested.
Yeah,
they'll be like, man, give me a fucking pack
because you ain't
of
doing
cookies.
anything so crazy. Like as long you're like behaving in a way, so it's like fuck it, whatever. So he's tattooing in there. Who gives a shit?
Yeah,
I don't have to work now. You know? Yeah, I see.
Yeah, and then there's paperwork and all that bullshit.
Yeah. I know that aspect. I remember my dad was telling me one day. He was working, and the guys were playing basketball, and everyone was like, they were actually like just doing their thing, like legitimately like having good games. Yeah. And this other asshole kept throwing the balls up on the roof.
On purpose?
Yeah, no. So my dad came over after like the third basketball and was like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so he said he actually went through all the paperwork and wrote this fucking guy up.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to say the dude got fucking stomped to death.
No, and then the guy went into his cell and took a pen and stabbed himself in the eye like 5 times, like
what the
through
fuck?
his fucking eyeball. Because my dad wrote him up or some shit.
And I mean, if you get written up for certain shit, and I say the dude might have already made parole or some shit and doing some dumb shit, and like say he's on his way out, he's about to get this case, they might have snatched his parole, so you never know what, you know.
But I remember that story him telling me that when I was a kid.
Trying to get out of it. Oh, I was fucking not thinking he was like psycho or needs some medication or some shit. People do that shit in there all the time.
My dad used to work on suicide watch and shit with the mental health unit too, and he used to tell me dudes would shit in a cup and like spread it all over their cell and shit like that.
Crazy shit.
So I always heard all these stories when I was a kid. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, there's some wild shit that goes on.
When I was a kid, my dad used to get me Christmas gifts, and he used to tell me that they were made from elves that were in jail. Imagine that.
That's fucking hilarious.
Dude, I remember he gave me the Extreme Games. Remember that? I don't know if you remember that game, but it was like Extreme Games 1 for PS1. And like I remember he gave me that for Christmas and said an elf made it in jail.
Santa's little helper.
Yeah. Because he said they got arrested. Like,
oh, wow.
Actually, fun fact too.
The
though,
elf got arrested. Huh?
My dad handcuffed Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman, was a serial killer from Dumont, New Jersey.
No shit.
Yeah, and he also when Biggie Smalls got arrested in Bergen County, New Jersey, he like escorted him in the jail.
That's badass.
Cool.
That's a CO's claim to fame for sure, right there.
Pretty interesting shit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I know my brother worked at like a juvenile detention center for a while, and it was all gangs and shit, and he said that was like rough. Then he got transferred to county, where he got like a pay raise, and it was a lot more easy going, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the county's better because people aren't
for
really...
a year where he is, I think, maximum, or until they go on trial.
And they're trying to like beat their case, so they're trying to like, they're all of a sudden they turn saints, you know. You get in trouble and you're fighting.
He was working at like a juvenile center where it was like, I forget what it was, like 18 to 25 only.
Oh, it is fucking wild.
And that's probably wild.
Yeah, for sure.
But that shit's interesting as fuck.
Because you got to think, when the people are that young, usually they're in there and they don't have like a father figure. And I had a father figure, but it was more of a, I would go see him during the summer type thing. But a lot of people in jail are like, they never had any like, direction or mentor or anybody to tell them like, hey, this is how a man's supposed to be, or
like
anything like that.
Their brain doesn't even like literally comprehend like what being like on the correct trajectory is. Like, it's almost not their fault in a way. Like, but like they don't even have it in them, or they didn't learn it yet, or maybe some of them have no chance to learn it.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people in there, they didn't have a chance at all at life. Yeah. And that's where the gangs come in there. You got you have some dude, you got some intelligent guys in there, you got all walks of life in there. People get fucked over, they go in there. People are just criminals, they go in there, but you got smart criminals, you got dumb criminals.
Yeah.
But then they have these little social networks networks inside, and that's where, the young guys that never had any direction or like never felt accepted anywhere.
Sure.
Like that's where all that gets bred,
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
But that was one thing, good thing I did have like a father figure growing up, but it was like my decision to be a fuck up,
Yeah.
But, I actually, that's why I didn't ever get involved with any of that shit when I was in there. I was like, nah.
So when you finally got in there, you just like laid low of all that shit.
Yeah. I was like, man, I don't need somebody in here to give me some more rules to live by,
Yeah. So is it possible or easy, I should say, or to just steer clear of that and kind of do your own thing?
Well, like, I mean, you obviously, like you said, man, I am a bigger guy. And so it's like in there, it's more like, people prey on the weak type of thing. So like the first day when I came in on that maximum security level that I was telling you about, how I got in trouble and then sent to, got my custody level taken. Well, the first day I came onto that unit, like right when you come in, they open the little, the port doors. You come in, you drop your shit, your mattress, your bags, or whatever you got. And then they have you waiting there in front of the day room, and the day room's full of everybody. And everybody, it's segregated. The benches, you got Mexican Mafia, you got Crips, you got Bloods, you got the fucking Aryan Brotherhood. Usually the whites are, they're the minority in there, so they'll have like one or two little benches in there. And then you have like the Tongo, you have all those, different prison gangs that are in there. And as soon as anybody comes in that's new with some, like bags and stuff, the fucking sharks hit the bars like, hey, where you from? Like, if you look white or Mexican, all the Mexicans and whites go, hey, what's up? Vato, where you from? They'll be like, what's up, Peckerwood? Or like, whatever. Like, trying to come see.
But you have to join them?
No, you don't have to. No, but what happens is you have to fucking fight. When you at a place like that, you have to, first day you're there, you're going to fight. If you don't fight, you're going to end up paying somebody for protection the rest of the time you're in there, or you're going to be somebody's bitch,
So if you're paying for protection, though, like, is that, like, what if you have money? Like, what if someone on the outside just linking you with a bunch of money? Can it just be that simple?
You can, but that's not how you want to come in, though, because it's like, then nobody will respect you at all. And it's like, but it's like, it's pretty much like people, like, they look at it like, it was that situation did work out. I actually did see a lot of people make it through prison, and it worked out for them that way.
Just with loot.
Yeah, they had family that would send them money, and they'll pay they'll get, this gang leader, like of whatever freaking
that guy just
gang
got denomination forever.
Like. Yeah, bro, that was actually a hustle in there. So when you come in, this is like, you come in, you got to fight. So they call it's fucked up. They say fight, fuck, or bust a 60. It's like,
what's the bust a 60?
The $60 at the commissary store. So it's like,
but that's relatively cheap for protection.
But you have a maximum amount. Now I think they raise it to like $7,500, but you have a maximum amount you can spend on commissary each 2 weeks. So that's the maximum amount you can spend. So it's like, you really getting fucking took for all your shit, and you ain't gonna have no commissary, really. So it's like, you're paying anything you can go buy, like ice cream, soups, chips, whatever, toothpaste, all that shit. Like, you're having to give it away to fucking Bubba, Uncle Bubba, or
you
whatever.
Almost don't have much. You almost have nothing for yourself at that point.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, but it worked. Like I said, you still get food in there and stuff. But but obviously, most people are like, there's a lot of people that are like, well, fuck you. So it's, they fight. And man, if you fight, it's like you fight and people ain't gonna fuck with you. They're like, man, don't fuck with that dude. He'll fight. Like, why you just, it's like,
so you just gotta
why are you gonna go touch it? Why are you gonna go grab a cactus?
How many fights you got to get into, you think, to earn that respect?
My first fight, I earned respect, because usually it's like, you come in and it depends on, I'm Caucasian. So the Caucasians were the ones that are like, all right, well, whenever they roll the doors, you go, this is right. Man, I had not been there 10 minutes. They're like, but the people in county, the OGs that had been to prison had already told me what's going down when I get to prison. That's why I was doing those push-ups. Like, I was ready, like fucking
you were
chiseled.
Like
training. Yeah, bro. And so anyways, the dudes, they came and they're like, well, hey, when they roll the doors, we're going to come to your cell, bro. There's 3 of them. I'm like, all right, shit, bet. What's up? Like,
the leaders?
Yeah, there was that, because they asked if I was in a gang. I was like, nah, I don't need no gang. Like, hey, I came in here by myself. I'm going to leave by myself. And so it's like, they call it, it was like, there's like independent. They call it the independents, like Peckerwoods or whatever.
With no gang.
With no gang. They don't have no structure, nothing. They're just like, people that will fight for themselves type shit.
And is that like a viable approach or?
What do you mean?
Like, people get through like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because
But you got to fight. You're saying.
Yeah, you got to fight. Yeah. So we go and and you got to fight multiple people. Usually like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Okay, so you get in there on day one, and you're saying when the cells open,
Yeah.
who approaches you? A rival or
Well, no. Well, it was just he was like the speaker of the Pecker Woods, the Woods. He was like he
that's
was like
the speaker of the no gangs.
Yeah, the speaker of the no gangs came up. His
But
name
that's
was,
like a gang in itself.
It is like a gang in itself. Well, pretty much what it is, it's like they're like, hey, if you get clicked on, we got your back. We ain't gonna let nobody jump on you, type shit. But it was like,
But
as
we're
far
not
as, like,
really a thing.
rules and having a ranking order,
Nothing
pecking
like
order.
that.
It's really not like
it's just
that.
like let's kind of stick together because we're all on our own.
Yeah, but because there's always shit that goes down, so the people
like the
gotta
nomads,
talk.
like,
Yeah.
So you were a Peckerwood, you would say.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's what you would call me. I didn't like identify or whatever as a Peckerwood, but that's what that's what they would call me.
Yeah.
So so Evo comes up. He's like, "All right, bro. Well, you got to fight. You got to fight Tuna and Nate."
But those were other Peckerwoods. Yeah. Oh, you're just boxing with them now just to prove.
Well, yeah. So you go to an 8x10 cell, and it's like you guys all go in the 8, and they once they close the doors, it's like the 2 people get on the bunk. So it's like it's an 8x10 cell. You got a bunk, so it's like, man, you don't have no room, and then you got a toilet right here. So you got like freaking 5x7 area, really.
And you're fighting a guy who's technically on your side.
Yeah, technically, he's like a guy that's on your side.
But why?
Exact, to earn your respect or whatever. Like because they have like a prison.
But
respect.
are the other gangs gonna know you did that fight?
Oh yeah, they're gonna know because I mean the people can like there's like you can hear you because whenever there's some shit going down like that, everybody knows because you got to let everybody know. That's like a thing. There's like they call it a heart check.
So this is almost like the arena. Like this is like the in Rome. Like the fucking
Then you have your little groups. Like if the Crips got some drugs or the Bloods got some shit, cigarettes, you got to go let everybody know. Like hey. That's what they do. Like, hey, we're about to go do this. We're about to go handle this in itself. Y'all got any shit or dirt? Y'all get rid of it because if anything happens, then you had to. It's like a little political system in there. Yeah,
it's like so y'all about to fight. So like everyone else hide your shit and all that stuff because they're about to crack down on everyone after this fight and all that shit.
Yeah, a lot of times if there's some shit about to if there's something about to go down, people let people know like hey if they're about to stab one of their own gang members or something. They'll go let everybody know.
So you can hide all your...
Yeah, like, hey, just for out of respect. Because it's like, okay, if somebody loses like a bunch of money or whatever the fuck illegal shit they got going on, then they're going to be mad. Like, hey, why did y'all fucking come tell us? And there's a whole riot, a fucking race war going on in there or some crazy shit over something small like that.
Like like a nick of weed or something.
Some dumb shit. It's crazy. The politics, it's its own world.
Yeah. Well, it's actually kind of interesting because it's like humans tend to create these kinds of worlds no matter where they are.
Exactly.
It's like almost like just nature of humanity.
It is.
Or nature of the human ego. I don't know. But yeah, something along those lines, right? It's like very interesting, right?
It is.
Because people always like to speak about like, oh, we need to like reform our government or our political systems. But it's like as soon as that's stripped away, when left to their own accords, humans will reestablish a hierarchy system. It's just literally
you need it. People need like a government. People need religion. People need a set of rules to live by.
So if we stripped all of them away, then it would be like jail. We would just recreate them.
Yes, exactly. Fucking but maybe in a Mad Max.
But we saw this. We saw this like in 2020 when they had like Chaz or Chop. Or whatever it was in Seattle.
In Seattle,
yeah. But like people just and they're like anti-government, but
that was fucking nuts.
But they created their own government on the street.
That was fucking that was insane. In modern day America, something like that was really a thing in a fucking city. How the fuck does that even happen? That's crazy.
Well, because it's just human nature, man. It's just like power and control and hierarchy. It's like literally built into our code. I think.
I mean, the struggle, the Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's like everybody's struggling for that power.
So let me ask you this though. So you started tattooing at what point in jail? Like where?
Actually, man, from the first when I knew that I was gonna spend a long time in there, that tattooing piqued my interest. Because, obviously I had a couple little shitty ass tattoos already, which I had, covered and lasered, Now I didn't even get any tattoos when I was in jail the whole time.
Well, thank God.
Yeah.
You might have got more than that tattoo. But who was like, did someone in jail inspire you to, like, was another guy tattooing already that you saw?
Yeah, that guy that I was telling you about that showed me how to make the ink, that dude Jesse, that was the Mexican mafia dude. He was actually like he knew how to tattoo
like
all that.
Before jail even probably, or?
Yeah, he got out and he was tattooing in the free world when he got out, and then came back in. So he was a guy that learned in there, got out, tattooed out, got in some shops, and then went back to his life of crime, and then went back, and the cycle goes,
So he was doing that, and then so you see him doing that, and then you start doing them, like, would you say, like halfway through your sentence? Or?
No, man, from the beginning, really.
Oh, so you started doing them too.
Man,
you actually, like apprenticed under Jesse, right, on the fucking
kind of, yeah, a little bit, yeah. With as far as learning how to hand poke goes, for sure. Actually, funny enough, a guy texted me today, called me, that I was in the county with that dude Jesse. He came to my shop not too long ago. He saw me on some advertisement that it was like like that painless tattoo. This client I had, I was tattooing him, and he did like a video. And so he saw me on the ad and came to my shop. Anyway, he had one of those. It was a Paul Booth fucking piece of flash on his chest that I picked. And he actually texted me today. But he can't, like,
wait, Jesse from jail?
No, a guy that I did a tattoo on during that time period when I first went in there with hand poke.
Yeah, now he connected with you now.
Yeah, actually, I'm still connected with. There's another guy actually hand poked a whole back piece on.
Damn.
He has a jiu-jitsu gym out in Frisco. Man, I just got a new phone. I'm not signing in my iCloud. I do, though.
You don't have to look for it now, but if you can get it from before this comes out, I'd love to show it up on the screen.
It fucking sucks. I'll get it from him because I talk to him all the time.
No, but that's cool. To me, that's cool as fuck. Like, we could all do cool tattoos now. Like, that's like, for me, like almost regular.
I'll get it for sure. I'm gonna get it from him.
To me, that's like very interesting because, like, I know you're gonna do a cool tattoo tomorrow or whatever, and so am I, right? Like, whatever. So it's like our whole friend network. But like, that to me is like fucking cool.
Raw as fuck. Raw. Fucking staple sharpened on concrete.
Dude,
fucking,
fuck yeah.
Like,
that's sick.
Primitive as fuck.
Hell yeah.
But.
Okay, so you're tattooing in there, and then when you first get out, I know we kind of glazed over it before, so it was like you said, like a little bit of a culture shock. Where do you go? Like, when you get out of jail, what do you have? Like, where do you go? Who picks you up? Like,
well, I had my family, I had a good family support system. So my mom, dad, everybody, they're still in my life. They're separated, but they're still, coming to visit me all the time, and
sure,
there, So when I first get out, and I let in Huntsville, Texas, that's where everybody gets released at. So I get out and we go to the gas station, and I sat there and I'm like, I could not get out of the fucking car, bro. I was froze. I saw all the people walking around and shit. And in my mind, I'm like, man, they know I just got. I'm thinking like they know I just got out of prison.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. And I told my mom, I'm like. And I don't want to go in there. And I got super anxious.
Like that.
Anxiety just fucking overwhelmed me. And I was like froze. I'm like,
and was anxiety something you got before? Or
no,
was this
like that was a new anxiety.
Wow.
And it was actually right before, when is the Black Friday? Yeah, Thanksgiving. It was right before all those sales went on. Mm-hmm. I remember this fucking vaguely because the first time when I went clothes shopping, it was all that Christmas, Black Friday. It was a melee.
Yeah.
And, I'd been out for 2 days, and my mom took me to, like, fucking Kohl's and fucking, she was taking me around the mall, and it was, man, I had, like, the first store we went into was, like, a Macy's, and I'm, like, looking at some jeans, and this lady, like, comes and, like, bumps into me, and I'm like, damn, like, in prison, if somebody bumps into you, you're like, it's like, excuse me, but I'm like, and I started kind of like freaking out. So I was just like, Mom, we got to go. Let's get out of here. So, I mean, I didn't get many clothes. She just went back and got some clothes for me and all that.
Yeah.
But man, yeah. But it took, in every store I would go into, I remember, like, it was crazy. I would see everybody like this.
Oh, and that was new to you.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck is
you
going on?
You never had a smartphone in your life.
So
you might have had like a Nokia.
It was like StarTech, and the Nokia,
the
and the Razor. That was like like the hottest shit. The little Razor.
The T9 when you text with like the numbers.
Right, yeah, it would take fucking 5 minutes to text a sentence because you got
to. And then you came out and there was in 2014 it was like
you had iPhone. Yeah, so I'm like, what the fuck? This is it was crazy, and people were texting me. I get my phone and people keep texting me. I'm like, like, I'll call him right away. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
why are you texting me? Call me. Like, why the fuck are you texting me?
They thought you were like a serial killer making a phone call or some shit. They're like, what the fuck? I don't want. Damn, dude.
Yeah, that was what the technology. That was the biggest like culture shock to me.
Because technology was increasing so exponentially, and when you're gone for 10 years through like the peak technological advancement period, like from 2004 to 2014 was like a lot.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because you got in social media, because MySpace was barely around. So that
in
was
2014, Instagram was like in full effect, and
everything, Instagram, Facebook, you know, that was like a, you know.
So you weren't even. So then you get out. Because obviously, like, in looking at your tattoos and shit now, like, I didn't even know. So you weren't doing what you were doing close to what you're doing at that point. Like, 14, you just get out. Yeah. You're like an Amish guy who just got out of the fucking thing. Yeah. And just got, like, dropped. You're like an Amish dude who got dropped off in New York City,
pretty fucking much.
It's kind of interesting because I almost wondered, like, to what degree, like, you, like, that... Like that affects you, like even today, like you probably have like an appreciation that's like different from like mine, like
for sure.
Because like when you travel to a new city or go somewhere, like enjoy like a meal or something, like there's probably like probably something like I could just never understand.
Yeah. Well, I remember
like,
you know,
crazy.
when I first got off parole, it was so hard to like, you know, just travel anywhere on parole. You had to get approval to do this. Man, when I first got off parole, and I could just get on a plane and go anywhere the fuck I wanted and not have to like worry about
freedom
nothing at all.
Freedom to you is like, it was like really appreciated.
Yeah. Oh man, there's little like little things, you know, that I remember, you know, just, you know, the first taste of this, the first this, that, the first everything. Yeah. So it's like, damn, you get a new, I remember the first time I got off parole, I was like, man, the first time I could, you know, take a hit of some weed. I didn't drink. The whole time I was on parole, I did not drink, smoke, nothing.
So how long were you on parole after your...
For 9 years. Because I still had an 18-year sentence, so I got out. Well,
you got out in 14, and then it wasn't until 23. No.
What do you mean? Wait. Well, I just got off. I discharged. Yeah, it was. Let's see, 2014. So it was 2023. Yeah, 2023. No, not 23. No.
22.
2014 to. Wait a minute. Let's see.
I'm so bad at public math.
Wait a minute.
Thanks to Mark Wade for telling me about what that means. Because like I had one of my podcast episodes, I tried to add something and I did it wrong, and then I listened to it.
No, I had 7 years actually. So 2014 to 2021. Yeah. So I recently got off not too long ago.
And you didn't drink that whole time?
No, I didn't do nothing. Drink, smoked, nothing.
You were just focused.
I was like, yeah, because I'm like, man, I'm not gonna do anything to jeopardize my freedom at all.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm gonna do something to you know. Caused me to go back to that.
Yeah, so and it's something you're allowed to drink.
Yeah, now.
No, even when you're on parole.
Yeah, you are, but
I'm saying you don't want to like tempt yourself with like a bad decision making.
You get around the wrong people.
Or in the wrong environment or in the wrong headspace.
Man, exactly. Because you never know what's gonna happen. You go to a club or like whatever. I mean, I was like that was one thing that I was really cautious about. When I was on that, you know, parole, I was like, there's no way I'm going back.
Because, like, if you could have just had, like, half of that mindset the first time you were on it. Yeah. But at the same time, it's almost like, I don't know, man. Like, it's almost like probably, like we talked
I wouldn't
about
have had that mindset if I didn't have to go through all that fucking turmoil and,
Isn't it weird
self-searching in prison, you know. And there was actually a point, like, halfway through my prison, you know, where I just had, like, a turning point. It just flipped. I actually read the book The Secret.
Okay.
I read The Secret, you know, and it's like started reading it because, you know, I've never been like super religious. You know, I grew up I was always, you know, grew up in like a Christian based home and had to go to church.
But it didn't really hit you. Like I
didn't resonate.
You were just going through the motions because like your family said that's what it is, but you didn't like it wasn't like a belief.
Right.
And then at some point, like something clicked in you.
Yeah, I read The Secret, and it was like it was more of a way you can connect to something like a higher power or a God. It was like more of like a layman's term, like. You know, like manifestation or, you know,
because it's almost all the same.
It is, yeah.
It's just however you want to like define
accept
things.
It or however you want to receive it.
It's like succumbing to like something greater, whatever you want to call it, whether it's God, Allah, or fucking whatever, Jesus,
Buddha, or
Buddha,
you know, yourself,
whatever.
or like your, you know, your energy, your chakras.
It's
you know, people have,
it's just something bigger. It's like realizing, it's like being humble enough to like realize that there's just something more. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Right, but it's there, but it's like I feel like it's you know, there's scholars and theologians and, you know, prophets, like that's like that is what they do to explain that, or like to try to relay the message to people. And like some of them do it really well, and it catches a whole, it gets the message to a lot of people, so it's just like, that's just how people, that's all. I feel like that's what religion is. It's like a way to explain, that to everybody. I don't think there's a right or a wrong way. I feel like religion is where it kind of gets a little crossed up, and they start, religions get a little too powerful, or, too indoctrinated. And then that's when it can, but that's a whole nother.
Yes. Yeah, man. I always felt like since I'm a kid, I just had like a belief in myself. It's very hard to explain, but like, I always felt like I can do or achieve whatever I want,
I mean, I don't want to sound like egotistical or anything, but that is like that's a belief. Everybody is their own creator. You are your own.
You're like a demigod.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, think about it. Like, okay, like look in the Bible, look in, the Torah, look in the Quran, look in any kind of, spiritual power based, whatever, that is like that. You have to ask, you have to speak, to create, to get stuff. And I mean, there's steps you take, and it's like, but it starts with you. Yeah. So it's like,
well, that's what I feel like being an artist. It's like you are like a god. Like every time you make a piece of art, you're like bringing something to birth. Like you're literally bringing something to reality that
the
came
tattoo
from,
god.
Well, I mean, it's like it came from like your mind or the collective of mind, and you're physically manifesting it, whether it be painting, art, tattoos, whatever. You're like literally bringing something new to life. Yeah, that is creation. Like, literally.
It is.
It's very powerful.
Yeah. No, most definitely. Yeah. That's it. In art. Yeah. That's like a raw core, part of creating. Cause that's like the most raw form. Cause you're doing it like with your hands, your energy, your time. Like you're doing
and it otherwise didn't exist, literally for observable.
You created something from a thought. An idea.
Yeah. That is like, that's literal creation.
Right.
It's crazy,
man. Getting deep with it, man.
Yeah, I tend to do that sometimes.
No, that's cool, man.
But that's crazy, man. So I'm glad you like obviously made it out of the other side. So I like to kind of bridge it back to like what we were talking about before. I just heard you laugh. Like you not that you should do anything, but like laughing about it would be I can't think of something better to be doing.
Right. Yeah, I don't bitch about it. That's one thing I notice about people that like that is like a big thing, whether somebody's gonna get reincarcerated or not, is their mindset. And if you have a mindset coming out like you're a victim of what you just went through or whatever, like, nah, motherfucker, you did something to get yourself in that position to fucking face those consequences.
It's like you taking responsibility for yourself, and in that you're able to free yourself.
Yeah, you free yourself because if you're not taking responsibility, you're blaming, and you're just gonna and
when you're
gonna
blaming,
be a roadblock.
And when you're blaming people, then you're giving them the power to fix it.
Exactly. Or it's sometimes people blame something that is nothing. Yeah, it's like you're blaming this on nothing. Really,
it's like a delusion.
It's a delusion. It is.
But when you take responsibility, then you give yourself the power to fix it.
Right, and you don't dwell on it. Yeah, and you fucking move on, and you I mean, that's like, it's like, I think I heard you say something one time about, layers of an onion, Yeah, that's part of the layers. Like, if you let those layers just keep building up, like, you're going to get blinded. But it's like, man, like, if that's like that, some of that shit, like, stuff like that, if you can just get beyond it, you peel those layers back, and it's
then
like,
you find the real you and the root, and then you can fix it,
exactly.
or laugh about it.
Exactly. Because every problem has a root, man.
That's what I'm
for sure.
Saying. Yeah.
And the root is all. It has to do, like, any problem you or I have. It starts with us somehow or some way, whether we wanted it to or not.
And sometimes it's like the influence around you, or something might have like pushed you that way or whatever, but it still was like your ultimate decision,
right?
know? And I think, sometimes people have like an unfair starting point, or like a shitty upbringing, or abused, or, whatever. It could be anything,
And kids, a child is innocent. So it's like if a child grows up in an abusive home, sees their mom get beat up all the time, get slapped around, gets molested,
they start
whatever.
to think it's normal.
Yeah, and it's like, but that kid didn't do anything to deserve that, but they have that trauma on them, and now they're like fucked up for life.
They're operating from that system.
Yeah.
And the only way to beat it is to like really analyze it and go through it, face it, understand it, and then, and then do the best you can with that,
Right.
So it's like, that's why, like, right away when you were like, I'm laughing, I was like, thank God. What else should you be doing?
Yeah, man. It's like, that's how humans are. We're like one trauma after another, you know? So it's like, damn, if you just let any kind of trauma you have just hold you up. I mean, and I say trauma, not to mean like, like a serious trauma, but, just little things like your friend did something to fucking piss you off that wasn't like respectfully or something. Yeah, that's like a little trauma. If you hold that inside, then that's going to, come back out in a negative manner somehow.
It's almost like, I looked at it this way one time. It's almost like, it's like shining a flashlight at something small, and it like spreads like as the light goes. And it's like, I don't know if I'm articulating it exactly, but it's like little things turn into big things.
Right. Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's like you take a grain
of sand. Turn a mountain into a molehill,
a
molehill into a mountain. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's like something sometimes I need to like work on too, because sometimes I get hung up on that shit. I get crazy in my mind about something small, and it's like, man, if I just like had the courage to kind of nip it early, it wouldn't be, you know what I mean? But I know that sometimes that's my problem. But yeah, like everyone's got their things. And shit,
I remember when I was a child. You say that, it reminds me when I was a child. Like I had this like reluctance to be able to like ask for stuff I wanted.
Yeah,
it was weird. Like I would want something like. It could be something like a fucking slingshot or $5 or something, but it would be like my aunt or my grandma, and I would be sitting there having to like tell myself, all right, I'd have to go through my head to build myself up to ask like for that. And then sometimes I wouldn't even ask for it because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, oh man, like
it's literally
making up
what I'm
some
talking
shit.
about.
Yeah.
And then you just created a whole dialogue. In fact, if you asked and they said no,
yourself.
It actually would almost be better.
Right.
Because at least you did it. And they were like, no.
It goes to this old saying, closed mouths don't get fed. It's how the fuck are you going to know whether it's a yes or no unless you ask or,
Yeah, or communicate about it. Or like, because if they told you no, at least you would have had like closure on that loop.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
instead of having to go tomorrow and then you loop it again and you still don't ask.
Yeah. And now you're just stuck in this loop, and then you start like rebelling against like a dialogue in your brain that's not even real.
Yeah. No, like, I feel like every humans are there. We're our own worst enemy. We hold ourselves back the most.
Hell yeah.
We cause all of, not all of, but a lot of our own problems,
Yeah.
It's like,
I know.
I mean, we're humans. I mean, that's what makes you human. We're not a robot. So,
not yet.
Yeah.
Seems like soon.
Man, being down here in Austin, it was crazy. All that, like when I went in the little Whole Foods parking lot over there, because I'm from Dallas. Austin's a lot more like eclectic. Like it's a different vibe
a lot
here
of
in
chicks
Austin.
with armpit hair,
Yeah. But I noticed there's like all kinds of there's a lot more of electric cars. Obviously, they have the Tesla plant down here.
Yeah.
But
bro, there's self-automated vehicles with no one in them driving around.
Excuse me. Like Ubers?
No, not even, just unmanned vehicles.
That's what I saw. It had this little radar thing on the top, and it was plugged in. I was like,
there's no one in them.
Yeah, I was
they
like,
just drive
what is
around.
this?
I don't know what data they're collecting.
I thought, it looked like a Google. Man, that's
I don't even know what
crazy.
brand it is, but they're doing some shit out here with like
I wonder
automated.
what that is.
I have no idea.
Huh. I know in Vegas they have an underground tunnel system, and that's what it's going to be, all just automated Teslas in the underground tunnel.
Yeah.
I don't know if they already have that. Or I was in Vegas not too long ago. I didn't take anything like that, but that's what I had read or heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, freaking.
Yeah, I see them around. I don't know. Someone pointed it out to me the other day, and I was like, I never seen one. And then they were like, there it is. And I was like, oh, I did see those. I just thought they were.
It was a white car?
No, but I thought they were Google cars for the maps, but there's no one in them.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw one plugged in over here at Whole Foods. It had like a little
that
radar
thing might
looking
pull
thing
out by itself.
I didn't see anybody in it.
No, it might just drive out.
Probably. It's probably just recharging. Little robot plugs into its port.
It's crazy, bro.
That is.
I don't even know
crazy.
what's going on.
That's
with those
crazy.
I actually got to look more into them. Somebody
fucking
probably knows.
Judgment Day coming.
Yeah.
Fucking Terminator. Shit. If you go back and watch the first Terminator, the T1, right now in modern day present time, it's kind of fucking scary, really.
Yeah. Well, they Well, I mean, depending on how deep you are into that shit, but like a lot of times they like societally prep us for that kind of shit, like in a weird way. Like,
that's why they came out with those movies.
Supposedly there's like some tornado movies coming out now and shit.
Some new ones?
Yeah, because like apparently like there's like more tornadoes happening in America and stuff like that. I haven't heard much about it.
I know the heat is right now in Texas. We had a record breaking like temperature the other day. It was like 120 degrees.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Insane. When they say obviously global warming, I mean that's got to be a thing.
I haven't done much research into it, but I know that there's something probably going on somewhere.
I mean, there's icebergs that have been there; they're melting and all that. So it's it's definitely who knows exactly the science of it, but it's like I know it's getting hotter. Yeah. And this winter wasn't really much of a winter here in Texas at all. Yeah.
Actually, though, it was my first winter here, and it was colder than I thought it would get.
Really?
We had a couple ice days here and stuff like that.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah, but it'll be icy one day, and then you can wear shorts the next.
It's weird, bro. It's like bipolar.
And then it'll rain.
No, it was like ice, and I was like driving, and everyone's like, "Oh, careful with the ice." And I was like driving home. I was like, "This is like New Jersey." No, it's like how it is every fucking day there.
Yeah, people just aren't used to driving this, so they don't know how.
So that's kind of scary. But like also, even with the 4-wheel drive, you can't stop or whatever with the ice. But
yeah.
But yeah, I didn't realize it got to single digits a couple days here and shit.
Yeah. That's it, man. It goes from
There's
one
a couple weeks
to the
where
next.
you wear a coat, but then it's like 2 days later.
You get snow sometimes here
but
and
it could be 75 the next day.
Yeah.
Like you were saying.
Yeah.
It's real weird.
Yeah.
It's like bipolar. Yeah. It's like crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
Texas weather is crazy.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I like it. I love it here.
Yeah,
I don't see myself leaving just yet.
I like Texas, but it would like if I like actually when I retire I want to move to Hawaii, Kona Island.
I love Hawaii, bro.
I want to move to Kona.
The Big Island?
For sure, yeah, the Big Island.
Yeah, I love the Big Island. Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it because you like the jungle side.
I love the wild shit, like just
not Kona, the other side.
The Hilo side. Hilo, yeah, the Hilo side.
Yeah, we talked about this, bro. I like both sides.
But yeah. But the Kona side is more of it's still not super touristy.
You would live on the Kona side though, and then just hit Hilo.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. The Hilo side, it's like my wife and I we stayed in a place called Pahoa. It's like it's over there. It is like when we started driving. So from one side, you've been there. You drive from one side of the island to the other.
You go over them. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's crazy. The climates they have what is it?
Microclimates. Yeah.
Yeah, they have every climate on that.
The Big Island is my favorite island.
Man, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Have you been to all the other islands?
No, I haven't. We went the last 2 years. We went to the Big Island. I actually want to go back again. We're gonna go back again in August to the Big Island.
Maui is my least favorite, but I do like Oahu.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's worth checking out. The Big Island is my favorite, though.
Maui, because of it's like more like a city and a beach?
No. Oahu actually has the Honolulu.
Okay.
Which is the biggest city. Right. But then when you get out of the city, it's got cool nature and it's a little older.
Yeah.
Maui's, I believe, a little younger, but it's a little more like touristy, developed California, kind of like I don't know. It's not. Look, Maui's still great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you still can't have, like, a bad time there.
Right.
But the Big Island is my favorite.
It's badass.
Yeah, dude.
It's crazy. You're out in the middle of an ocean on a fucking
And when you're on the Hilo side, it feels like you're in the movie Avatar.
Yeah, you're in the fucking wild, bro.
You saw some of those beaches where the spring water hits, like, the ocean and it steams and shit?
Yeah, man, it's crazy over there. Like, I saw they have, like, black sand beaches. Actually,
Did you go to the green sand beach?
Man, that's one. I want to go back because we haven't made it to the green sand beach. We were going to go one day, but it's like a hike, and we had our kids with us.
No, you got to. There's locals there with pickup trucks, and they'll drive you for like $5.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, man. We just didn't, man. There's so many beach pockets on that island, dude. Bro. It's insane.
I'm a Hawaii guy.
Yeah. You could live there for years and not hit every beach.
I know. I looked into like real estate and shit there too. And stuff
that's definitely like my retirement plan is to have some multiple vacation homes, and I'm gonna Airbnb them out. That's actually like the plan for retirement.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna get a nice little destination Airbnb home, on this island, and then I'm gonna have destination Airbnbs, and that's what I'll live off of. And then I'll just live at them. I'll travel around and live at this one. That's the plan. That's the end goal.
Hell yeah.
Is to have some vacation rentals and just kind of live at those vacation rentals in the places I love. So when I'm an old fuck, me and my wife, we'll just bounce around, to the places we love and live life and do business, remotely from there. Yeah. Hopefully, you know, or maybe we'll have cashed out by then and been like, fuck some work. I'm gonna go fucking be butt naked on the fucking nude beach, fucking swinging a hammock, have a fucking tree hut.
You guys hit the nude beaches or
man,
what?
Bro, we didn't even know it was a nude beach. We were in Pahoa.
In the Big Island.
Yeah, on the Big Island.
I think I went there too.
So we were in Pahoa, and it was a black sand beach. Actually, it was like a smaller black sand beach.
Yeah.
And my wife and I, man, we had this fucking. It was crazy. It was when we were driving to the Airbnb. I start seeing all like these huts, like tucked in the fucking jungle. I'm like, and we lose reception, and I'm like, babe, where the fuck are we going? And she's like, I don't know. This is fuck. We still lose our reception, but we still had our map. And so we make it to the fucking place, and it's like remote, bro. I saw a fucking naked lady walking down the street. It's like all hippies and like it's crazy. So we get up to our Airbnb, and there's this. It's a gate. And you can't really see none of the houses because the houses are like down and it's like a cliff and then the ocean's right there. It's like a volcanic cliff in the ocean. But man, we drive up to the address and there's like a garage door and it's open. And it looked like somebody had been like skitzing around and there's like all just in disarray. And so I grab the fucking top of the fence and I look over and this dude comes out. Can I help you? And he has his fucking hand behind his back. And he's fucking like missing some teeth, and he's like ripped, bro, like little islander, like And he's like, can I help you? I'm like, yeah, bro, it's this Airbnb. We're here. I was fucking high, like high out of my gourd too.
Smoking the Maui wow.
Yeah, bro, I was fucking lit. And the dude, he's like, Airbnb, what's that? Some kind of website or something? And he like drops his hand and he has a fucking rusty ass machete. And my wife's in this little fucking Toyota Tacoma. She's like, babe, get in the truck. And she like rolls the window up and I'm fucking lit. So it like turns into slow motion. And I'm looking at this dude. I'm like, man, I could hit him right in his fucking jaw and probably just drop his ass. But I was like, but this motherfucker looks like he's methed out and he looks fucking like he's not gonna, like if I better knock this dude out if I hit him. So I just like start slowly backing up because like my voice of reason was like, nah, motherfucker, don't
and you
get
had
chopped.
Flashbacks in that 5x3 foot cell.
Yeah, and he had a machete.
Dang.
So bro, I back up and get in the truck and we go to this little hut that says free Wi-Fi and we go anyways. And come to find out, this dude's name was Mad Mike and he was the lawn guy. And but we came a little early, so we scared him, and he scared us. Like, so it was like he had us some like coconuts chopped when we came and shit. Anyways, you could see the black sand beach right from our balcony, but it was far enough away you could see people, but you couldn't really tell. So we get, bro, when we're walking down through the jungle, it's like you got to walk through all these trails. There's this fucking Jamaican dude. He has his truck, like Rasta dude, bro. He has all these jars of weed. He's like, what's up? You want some fresh coconuts, some good weed? I bought some weed, bro. And then on the way down to the beach, we get to the beach and you got to like walk down this path and there's fucking naked people everywhere. It's mainly like fucking older, gay dudes and overweight, nothing you really want to see.
For sure.
So I was like, damn, babe, what's up? You want to go down? She's like, fuck it, let's go down. I was like, but I'm like, man, I ain't taking my shit off because I don't want all these dudes, like, especially because you could tell they're,
whenever you hit a nude beach like that,
sexual preference.
Whenever you hit a nude beach like that, you either get like that or you get all the one or two swinger couples coming up like quick.
Right.
Yeah, like you're prime picking.
Yeah.
Like you're like overqualified for the beach.
It's like going to the shower with your boxers on and shit.
Yeah. No, you're like the prom king and queen over there.
Exactly.
All like the C+ rated swingers are like, oh shit. Like it's like their dream just rolled up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's crazy. It's crazy you say that because in Kona.
No, I know what it is. No, because like I used to hit those beaches and shit like that, and like all the swingers are lining up like, hey,
hey, what's up? They see your girl and the dudes are like, hey, they have their like. Bro, come on, bro.
And you're like, I'm like overqualified over here.
Like, I don't want to see your nuts slapping on my old lady, bro. I'm sorry. No. I'm not that in tune with myself yet.
Funny as fuck, man. Yeah, Hawaii's cool as fuck.
It is.
Dude.
I guarantee, for a fact, it's a fact. If you go live, especially like on a place that's like remote, like the Big Island, you will add a good 15 years to your life.
Probably.
No bullshit, bro.
Did you go to a place in Kona called Broke the Mouth Grinds?
Broke the Mouth Grinds?
It was like a food place that like, I don't know, it was like one of those kind of semi-famous places that like Guy Fieri or something.
Really?
Bro.
In Kona?
Yeah.
Really?
Bro.
Where? Man, it's like on the little main strip right there?
It was it was along the beach and in one of those like strip, well, not far from Kona Brewing. I'm sure you knew where that was.
Yeah, I remember Kona Brewing. Yeah. No, we didn't go there. No, I went to Kona Brewing.
It was like Hawaiian food, what they call grinds. I'm sure you heard of that before. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was like the rice and the chicken and it was like Chinese food with the Hawaiian flair and the poke. With,
we didn't go there, but man, there is some like good ass poke there, bro. That is like the fucking tuna.
The poke.
Man, the poke for sure, for sure. Yeah, no, we didn't make it there, man, but it's, man, like I said, the Big Island, there's so much to do. Like, it's like we were there, the last time we went, we were there for 30 days. Oh, and when we were fucking hitting it, bro, like trying to like, because I like doing the nature and looking at all the waterfalls.
I did so much shit. I went to all the waterfalls, the green sand, the black sand, I went off road on the fucking thing. And, but when I was there, I did
tours and shit.
Yeah, but I did a few islands. I've been to Maui, I've been to Oahu and the Big Island. The only one I never went to was Kauai. But that's the one I would go to next. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have next time we go, we're gonna island hop a little bit.
My
wife and I are going by ourselves this summer, so we're gonna
definitely need the island hop. Yeah,
we don't have the kids with us.
Check them all because there's so much cool. You got to do Road to Hana.
Okay. Yeah. I'll definitely go check.
Even
that
like Oahu, you go to Pearl Harbor. There's some cool hikes and shit.
Right. Yeah.
It's cool. And then you can hit the city. The thing that's cool about Oahu is at night you can hit they have like a main street with like high-end designers and like high-end restaurants.
Right.
But then in the day you can hit like the craziest nature.
Yeah.
But then you can go get dinner at like some high-end restaurant in the city.
Right.
It's like New York on Hawaii.
Yeah. Okay.
But when you're
it's like
not
little small developed.
No. There's a major city.
Oh, okay.
A major ass city.
Okay.
With like concerts and DJs roll through and everything, comedy shows, whatever. But then when you leave the city limits, you're like in Hawaii. You know what I mean? So it's like both. Yeah. So it's kind of cool to spend some time there too, because you get to like experience like cool restaurants and like cuisine and like all that. Mm-hmm. It's like being in New York.
Yeah.
And then you just like drive.
New York is something else.
Yeah, I know. I worked there for a long time and grew up right outside of it, man.
Place smells.
Yeah, it does smell.
Yeah, it does smell. All kinds of different smells.
I'm not sure if I love it or hate it, and I think that's kind of similar.
It's it's just one of those places. Yeah, it's like you either love it or you hate it or you don't know. Yeah, it's like
I don't know.
It's got so many like pros and cons. It's like, damn, which one weighs out the other.
It's so cool. There's so much going on. There's so much unique shit. But then it's like at the same time, it's like, what the fuck is this? I want to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, people on top of people on top of people. But the thing is, there's not a big you don't see a lot of homeless people everywhere, like per se.
Well, they're
Austin.
hidden.
Yeah, I'm sure. When every time I go to New York, I go to like the touristy fucking shit, obviously. But
no, but they're they're there, but it's not like here. They're like. You
see people laying on the street and a turd here and there on the sidewalk.
But they're like tucked away more because I think there's a lot more like places to hide.
Okay.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. I also
instead out here you just got people posted up like in a tent under the bridge.
But you have to understand there's like the great equalizer. Mother Nature,
that cold.
Yeah, cold rolls through. Yeah. So it's like a real bad place to post up.
Yeah, it's a bad place to be a homeless person. Yeah.
So like they try to get their way out to places like this, I would imagine.
California.
Or here,
Hawaii.
Yeah, there's a good amount of homeless in Hawaii too, bro.
Oh yeah. All those huts, bro. I'm telling you, that's what I was amazed at how many people were just living.
Yeah.
Like in a there was huts literally on that wilder side of the island.
I bet some of them aren't even like exactly the same type of homeless. I bet I bet some of them just choose to live like that.
Yeah, you got like your hippie type, and then you got people that are on those little pockets in the island, bro. They ain't even never left that little fucking pocket of that island in that little area they lived in. That's all they know, and they speak almost a different language. Like real heavy. They call it pidgin. Yeah. So. It's there's over there in the Pahoa side. It's like, man, it's different. It's a different world.
But exactly, and I think that like that's why you don't see it in New York. It's pretty brutal winter, man.
Right. Oh,
so I think it's like
you couldn't survive through that shit.
And the ones who do. One time I said that to someone. I was like saying the New York homeless are like. They're
gangster.
Like, yeah.
Shit, they got fucking balls of steel.
Yeah, that's like D-Day, like a fucking storming Normandy Beach type cats. Like out here, like you could get comfy.
Right.
For being homeless, I think, and it's not that like being homeless is ever great.
Right.
But I think compared to like somebody in New York, like man, when the winter rolls around, it's hard to be like me.
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean? Like the wind chill factor of -10, and you're on your way to a show at Madison Square Garden. You're wearing a fucking down coat. The wind is blowing up your shirt, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, I've never experienced that. I would never go to New York in the wintertime. Fuck that, because I don't want to be that cold.
Well, I always feel like the summer here is the winter there.
Really? Oh, okay, yeah.
Like
sense.
For example,
the seasons are almost different.
Yeah, because
like different times of year there.
Yeah, because in my neighborhood right now, I live in like a development outside of Austin, right?
Right.
I don't see kids playing basketball on the street in August.
Yeah.
But I see them doing it in like September
when it's
or in
off.
October, or I see them doing it like in April.
So you're in the suburbs now, out here, kind of.
Yeah, for now. But I think I'm gonna probably find my way into the middle of the city here soon.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, like, in the winter in New York, New Jersey, the Northeast, you don't go outside. You drive to some bar or like whatever restaurant. You like with your jacket
and you go in immediately.
Yeah, but that's what you do here in the summer. But I feel like, my opinion, the summer here is a little bit better because after peak sun, you could still go out in the evening, or you can wear a tank top, shorts, and flip-flops and go under a fucking umbrella with a mister and have a cold beer.
Oh, yeah. Some live music venue or something, especially out here in Austin.
And it's hot, but everyone's hot, and everyone just smells together.
Yeah, you just wear shit that it's just light, and you get a lot of breeze, and you're chilling.
So it's like the winter here. The worst season in Texas is the dead summer. The worst season on the Northeast is the winter.
Yeah.
So it's like it changes.
Yeah.
But the difference is, in the winter in the Northeast, you can't do anything.
Right.
But in the summer here, you still have options.
Yeah, you can do what you go to the lake. That's the thing.
What I'm
hit
saying.
The lake, hit
so
the river.
I
hit
choose
the pool.
this. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, fuck.
The summer here
bro.
sucks, but it's like, cool. Wear a tank top, flip flops, and shorts,
Still
and
have a ball.
Go down to the brewery and stand under an umbrella, and go stand inside every 30 minutes and get some air conditioner and have a cold Pilsner, and you'll be fine. You know what I mean? Or go hit the river and float down the river, or, go get lunch on a fucking, outside in the back of the restaurant under an umbrella with a mister, and you get a little hot, whatever, so what? But you live.
Right.
But in New York, it's like, you're about to freeze your balls off. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it might not be good.
Yeah, you can't do nothing. That's depressing.
You can't do nothing.
The winter is
and it becomes depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here you could go to the river at 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun's already on its way down a little.
Mm-hmm.
And get some vitamin D and get a swim in at Barton Springs we have here.
Right.
You could go there at 6.
Really?
I'm saying,
you go there. You go there quite often, right? Is that what I see you posting on your story? The Barton Springs.
Yeah. But like, what I mean is, I don't need to go there at 12.
Right.
I could go there at 6:30 till 8, and it's still nice.
Yeah.
Get a swim in, get a little sun, and go home. So that's an option even in the worst, hottest days. You know what I mean? So you have like some form of like mental clarity, but when you're in the winter
with nature,
when you're in the winter though in New York, it's gray. The sun goes down at 6. Like it's rough.
Yeah.
4:30 even, the sun's on its way out.
Right. Yeah.
It's dark. It's gray. You're up more north, so the sun goes down earlier.
It would be hard to stay motivated in a place like that.
But here's the thing: if you do, you're like a real winner.
Yeah. you're one of the 1% or whatever.
I actually think you like almost should be raised there.
Right. That's one thing I noticed about New York, though. Everybody there is a hustler, though. It's like a nonstop hustle. People have like a hustler mindset.
I don't, but I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because I'm from there.
You have to.
Yeah,
really,
yeah. If you don't,
there, you kind of have to.
It literally, it's per person per square foot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Think about that. Like, if there's let's just make up numbers. If there's 10 people per 10 feet, it means like if you ain't getting it, someone else will.
Exactly.
So like here, there's a lot of space, so there's like more leeway.
And that's the thing. My wife's from California, or LA. So it's like, she's like, man, you'll call somebody here for a quote or something, they won't get back to you. She's like, man, people here don't want fucking money.
Yeah,
But if you're in a place like that, a real fast place,
to.
they're going to be right on it, getting it. So
that's why I like say me moving out here, I'm like invasive.
Yeah.
I'm like a snake on Guam.
You're an invasive species.
I'm a snake on Guam.
Yeah.
You know.
But there's a lot of people. Texas is fucking huge. Huge. To drive to one side of Texas to the other, it takes you fucking 12, 13 hours.
It's the biggest state. I didn't know that. I thought California was, but it's not true.
Texas is huge. Yeah. It's a country. It's own country.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's why I wanted to move here, just to be in alignment. If they succeed,
Exactly, right? Yeah, you want to be here. You can have guns. You can do whatever the fuck you know. I mean, not everyone. You can't smoke weed yet. You can smoke weed.
Yeah, but you can.
Yeah,
well, in Austin, you can.
Yeah, I mean, wherever you can.
Austin is like a mix of like Texas and not.
Right, yeah. Austin is like it does have a lot more. Actually, Austin has a lot more like liberal people here than any other place in the whole state of Texas.
Yeah, probably even in like the fucking country.
Yeah, it's different. Austin is a melting pot of everybody, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't smoke weed here yet, but that's like almost on its way federally, I think.
I mean, like I know in Dallas, like you can have like a couple ounces or whatever, and before it's like they even give you a ticket. You know?
Yeah, here I think they sell all that Delta 8 shit, so they can't really differentiate it.
Yeah,
and stuff,
they do there too. So yeah, it's like
it's like kind of gray.
Yeah, if you're outside smoking a joint and a cop, hey, bro, this CBD, bro, I got it right here at the smoke
and there's
shop.
a dispensary right up the street from here. You probably saw it when you came in.
But I didn't.
No, it's right here in this building, and they sell all that shit.
Really?
Flour with Delta 8. So it's like, well, how do you know it's not that?
Yeah, they have all kinds of crazy shit now.
Yeah.
They have like some shit, you burn it, and it's like THC. I don't know what, but you burn it, and it turns into actual THC or something when you put a flame to it. So it's yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I love Texas, you know. Like I said, if any other I would rather live in Hawaii than Texas, obviously because of the climate. But yeah, I feel like if you live on a damn island, you're going to get island fever and want to come back to the mainland.
I like Texas, man. Whenever like people have pride in this place, and I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I never see like, I know like a lot of people like to make it like a negative thing for someone to have pride in like either their country or their state. But for me, I think that's good.
Yeah,
like,
it is good.
People have a lot of pride.
You respect it more.
Yeah, and it just means people are happy to be there, and I don't see anything negative about that.
Right.
So
they're
like
proud of where they're from, then that means that must be a good place.
And having pride in something, and having like nationalism, or being like ecstatic to be somewhere, like I don't see how that's negative.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of people have pride in being from Texas, and like for me, that's like cool to be a part of something that people are proud of.
Right.
And I've been here a very short time, but I just know that that's something I picked up on, and I'm also proud to have joined that. You know, fuck yeah, you know, I'm glad I'm from where I'm from because it gives me like an advantage tactically. I think
I get it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have a different view too. You see everything differently than we see through a different lens. Like a born Texan, like that's just what it is to us. Like you come from somewhere else and you're like, damn, you see it like on a whole different scope, you know?
I feel like being from New York makes me like a Navy, well, not from New York, New Jersey, but I'm from the New York metro area, so I kind of like blend them together in a way. You know what I mean? I'm from like 7 miles outside of New York. It's like living like in a suburb of Austin, but it's just technically a different state. You know what I mean? But I look at that as being like a SEAL, like I'm a Navy SEAL. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because... And then when I come here, it's like if everyone's just in like the Army, I was like a Navy SEAL. You know, it's like hard to explain, but it's just like, it makes me feel a little faster.
You come from a faster place,
a faster
place.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
like literally.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It is a different mentality.
There's a little bit of a humor. Like a quick, I make people laugh. You know, it's like out here, it just seems like a little more.
Yeah, it's like you're a foreigner almost. Like you go to a foreign country, it's like you got an accent. You're like
everyone's always telling me like you're
culture.
different. Yeah.
It's different.
I'm out here going, what the fuck you talking about, man?
Like when I was up in New York, people could clock me. They're like, "You from Texas?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, I don't hear it, but obviously they do. They're like, "Oh shit, what's up, man?" Everybody that I met that knew I was from Texas, they're like, man, people from Texas are friendly. I'm like, you motherfuckers from New York are rude as fuck. Like,
but they're not bad people.
No, but I get why people are rude though.
No, because they have somewhere to go. You got to catch a train. You got to catch a bus.
And there's so many people stacked. It's like, say you're walking through Times Square, you got everybody in there, hey, you got to be like, nah, fuck off. Like, nah, bro, like, nah, fuck. You have to be rude to them.
Literally, it has nothing to do with how good or bad of a person you are. It has to do with, like, the habits of, like, where you're going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, literally, like for real.
Yeah,
like,
just being there for a little bit, you see why. You're like, damn, you kind of have to be short and rude with people. You know?
It's because if you don't cut them off, there's just... It's too many
people to waste your time.
Yes.
Things to waste your time.
And that's what I was saying before. It's person per square foot.
Yeah, it is stacked.
It's so densely populated that if you didn't know how to decipher the people around you, you would get hung up on nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like literally that.
Right.
And I think in the tattoo industry that helps you a lot because you're like, I already know this guy or this client ain't for me, and like, it's just like, and there's so many people there, and like, in Manhattan's got like 9 or million people or whatever it is in that little fucking island,
crammed on top of fucking
20 million people in the metro area. So it's like people lose value.
Yeah,
it's like money, like inflation or like per dollar per. Like if you think about each person's value compared to like how much you can absorb. Here, there's I think 2 or 3 million people in the metro area. There's like 20 million people in the metro area. So it's like, each person's value is lower.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense.
It's like literally if you look at it like mathematically. So then you have to get quicker at deciphering like who's fucking serious.
Who is worth spending my second on,
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I think that has a lot to do with like this pace.
Yeah, it is a fast pace in New York, for sure.
It's a very fast pace.
If you live there and if you can't get with the program, then you're not going to make it, for sure.
Yeah, and that's like that quote, if you can't make it, you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like that kind of thing.
Man, New York reminded me of being in prison, actually, because there's like so many people. It's loud. It smelled. It's like I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like abruptive to like your sensory system, right?
I know a lot of people from New York that moved to Texas, though. They're like, man, fuck that place. It's a zoo. A
That's
lot
how
of people
I feel.
they're like, it's a fucking zoo. Like,
I love it and I hate it.
Yeah, So like I know some people, they say that that's their favorite city in the world, and then other people are like, man, fuck that place.
Yeah.
So it's just, I guess it's your taste. It's not my taste. Like, I'll go there but I can only take it in short periods of time. But I couldn't live there.
So imagine,
I would have wanted to live there.
I used to catch a subway from the shop, and then sometimes I would transfer in Times Square, and I'd have to walk down the street right by Times Square.
Oh, you see.
And then I'd get into Penn Station, and then from Penn Station I would literally walk like to the next train stop, and then like it's crazy.
Right.
Like I where you were touring was where I would get off a train onto the next train.
Uh-huh.
And I did that for like years,
Right.
years.
How was the subway? Did you see any crazy shit like that happened on the subways and stuff?
I've seen all this shit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's wild.
Yeah.
It's a fucking fishbowl.
And I lived right outside of the city, and I never really wanted to live in it, but it was my city. You know what I mean? Like I grew up right outside of it. We watched 9/11. We watched the buildings burning. You know what I mean? Like I was right there.
Man, yeah, that's crazy.
It'd be like living in like I don't know, Denton. No, not even. Probably even closer.
Oh, to Dallas?
Yeah. I was like 7 miles away or something.
Oh, yeah, that's way closer. Denton's like an hour away from Dallas.
No.
Almost.
Yeah, no, it was way closer, but actually I was still an hour away because it's a different...
The traffic, to get fucking 10 miles there, it takes you forever.
Like where I'm from, you see the skyline.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're
like,
close, but it's so densely populated, you just can't get there.
Yeah, it could take
fast.
like 20 minutes if there's no traffic, but there's no such thing as that.
And
maybe 3, 4
It's almost
a.m.
like you kind of traded one for the other here in Austin. The traffic is like, it's...
Yeah, but the traffic here is not New York.
Yeah, New York is crazy. It's like there's like an unspoken like word with the traffic in New York.
Yeah.
You'll have like 3 cars in 2 lanes at all times.
And people are good at it.
Yeah, it's like everybody knows their turn, It's like, it's crazy.
They're like worms. Like
the literal rat race.
Exactly.
Yeah, the bicycles, the buses, the
people.
cabs.
It's surprising how dense everything is, but then yet somehow people like still don't get in many accidents.
Right.
I've actually seen more accidents here in Austin in like 6 months than I have in.
Yeah, and here people have they have a lot more room to accelerate, and there's less people, so it's like you have worse accidents here.
Worse accidents,
as opposed to little fender
New York,
benders.
it's like fender benders, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here it's like fatal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's actually kind of scary.
Yeah. And you got all these big trucks and shit down here.
Yeah. People just drive over the fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess what I didn't ask you before. So you got out, right, of the prison, and then you were already tattooing there. And then did you like meet somebody here where you?
Well, actually, I had a buddy of mine. It was one of my friends. He's dead now, but it was one of my friends. He was friends with Billy Jack in Dallas.
Yeah. I met him actually at your convention.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So he was friends with Billy Jack, and, you know, it was a friend from my childhood. His name was Brian, and we would write back and forth. He's like, hey, man, bro. Like, I would send him drawings, and, you know, I had airbrush, and I would paint in there and do all that stuff because I was in the craft shop, so I could do any kind of arts and crafts. I could get I could order anything from, like, Dick Blick or Jerry's Artorama or whatever, any kind of art
Jerry's
supplies.
is here,
Yeah. So, you know, I was doing art, and I was sending it to him. He's like, man, bro, like, when you get out, man, I got a buddy. He's down here killing it. He's got shops. He's making this kind of money. And obviously, man, I had every subscription to every tattoo magazine I could get my hands on, and I would read about artists, you know, and there's like a couple artists I resonated with, like Carl Grace and Roman Abreu, because they had,
and they were like on top at that time. I remember. And they had like a criminal past and all that, and like I read their story in magazines and stuff, so that like it really inspired me. So, you know, when I got out, that's like, obviously, right when I got out, I couldn't go right directly to a shop. You know, I was on like a house arrest thing for 6 months. So what I did that 6 months, I had enough money saved up. I had like $7,000 saved up from doing artwork. And anyways, I watched every YouTube video. Like, you know, I watched like Paul Booth, Nico Hurtado, like every big name in the industry back then. I was like, see what they were using, what they're doing. And I like ordered all the stuff, you know, all the like Cheyenne, back then it was like Cheyenne Hawk, you know, Cheyenne needles. And I ordered like the shit that was like popular, all these badass artists were using, you know, and I started tattooing in my apartment because, you know, obviously nobody wanted to I was like fresh out of prison. I'm like 31 years old. I'm all fucking like ripped and shit. And it's like, and I went to a bunch of shops. I didn't have a portfolio, nothing. I just had like artwork. I'm like, hey man, I'm trying to get in. This is my story. And no, a lot of people are like, oh no, man. Like, you know, like they're probably looking at me like, man, if I tell this motherfucker what to do to go scrub my fucking toilet, he might, you know, get mad or whatever. But anyways, I couldn't get an apprenticeship. So I started like learning on my own, you know, and I'd even reached out to Billy Jack, and he's like, oh, I didn't even know what a fucking curve mag was. I'm like, hey man, I was telling my buddy, ask him what's the difference in a flat and a curve mag, you know. And he's like, man, if he hasn't asked that, he ain't got no business fucking tattooing. You know? So anyways, I found some ad on Craigslist to this little hole in the wall like shop in the fucking ghetto. And they're like, you know, I called them. They're like, yeah, man, come on in, do an interview. You can do a tattoo. So I went in, and I took my stepbrother with me and did some like pin up like girl like on a bomb, you know, like a bomber girl, Statue of Liberty. And I was good. I was a good artist. My art skill was there. So it was like, you know, I was confident. Yeah, I can tattoo. And I'd already been scratching out of my little apartment. But anyways, I got a job there, built a little portfolio. And then that's when I, you know, got it. You know, I got into a shop, you know, Billy Jack. And then eventually I moved and I started working with Rember Oriana. And, of course.
You know, I got a lot of, actually,
that's where I first knew of you.
Yeah, actually, I remember we worked in my state. We kind of like missed
when I did the guest spot there, you were leaving that week.
Right, okay.
And I worked in your station. Yeah. And then they were like, he opened his own shop. He's like doing that now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. And I didn't know who you were, but they were like, the guy who said to me, like, you're Brandon. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm Bobby. Like, and I was like, but I'm working where he worked. You know, it's just like, but I didn't know who you even were. And then I remember like looking you up and I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, well, I think we messaged back and forth on Instagram or something, but yeah, and then that's where, I mean, obviously with Billy Jack, I learned a lot, but remember, that's really where I like elevated, you know, with my tattooing.
So you got the Rember shop though after that other hole in the wall?
Well, I went, I was at the hole in the wall, and then I went to Billy Jack's for a few years, you know, and and I got really good there, you know, because I got as good as my artistic ability. Yeah. And then I had another friend, his name's Quinn Hernandez. You probably know him.
I've heard the name. I don't know him.
He's a Texas artist. He was at the Expo, like, he was there. But anyways, you know, he started getting tattooed by Rember, and, you know, he would come back. And, you know, Rember was like, you know, I'd read about Rember in tattoo magazines before I started tattooing. Yeah. And he was like one of my idols and shit. And I remember I reached out to him when I first was trying to get into the industry. Like, man, I really love The Apprentice. He didn't even fucking respond. Yeah. But
that's great. But it's funny. He was all of our idols, probably.
Man, Rember's a fucking beast. Yeah. But I would learn, through like a third party. Quinn would go get tattooed by Rember, and then he came back. He'd be like, bro, he was using this round shader. He was using this liner. He was using this speed. He would use this coil for this and this rotary. So we were like dissect. He would go and then I started getting tattooed by Rember, and, you know, that's when I really, really started to learn a lot, is when I was getting tattooed, and he would like explain things to me. Why it was like a seminar and a tattoo. You know, I'm sure you've gotten tattooed by a lot of artists that you wanted to learn from.
Yeah, Dimitri Samohin.
There you go.
Sivak.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, exactly. I'm sitting there, I'm using this shit for a seminar. Like,
Why do a seminar when you could just go hang out? And
then eventually, he's like, I started working with him for some years, and really the the most important lesson he taught me was to take my time. No matter how much time any of the process takes, fucking use it. Don't skip any
I always tell people that
part of the process.
I don't give a fuck about time.
Nah, who gives a fuck about time? Who cares if you can knock a piece out like this in fucking 7 hours? You can knock a piece out like this in fucking 2 days, and it's badass, and you can get fucking $5,000 for it, and it's gonna bring droves of people, as opposed to you do this
my whole like life.
Bro,
like you just saying that. Yeah.
Actually, I would tell you that Rember like changed my whole outlook on tattooing when I went to him, because he was like, man, bro, your tattoos are good. I was knocking out like a forearm in a day.
Yeah.
He's like, man, your tattoos are good, but if you slow way down,
do it for 2 days,
they'll get better, and people will pay more money, and more people will want your fucking product that you're pushing. And I took that in and used it, and hey.
So would you say Rember was like one of your biggest like pivotal moments, catalysts? Like,
as far as artistically, for sure. I would say like Billy Jack, he was pretty much like one of my first mentor is, he taught me a lot of techniques.
Well, I like that you say that, because there's more than one mentor.
Yeah, there's multiple mentors.
There should be.
Yeah. And now I'm learning that I'm like, shit, some of my mentors are people I'm mentored now almost. It's like I got these young cats coming in, and they suck when they came in, but they're young, sharp, fucking focused, and they have me to give everything I know to them right away that took me this time to get. So it's like they're young and they're learning this shit, and they're like progressing like crazy, and so it's like, and they're like up with the technology and all this, so they're teaching me shit, bro.
That's
so
what I want to do. I want to start teaching kids so I can like start. Yeah, because it's like an input output,
bro. Exactly. Yeah. So mainly like I have these shops. Most like pretty much everybody in my shops are from people that I like mentored, and it's like these young kids. That's like, there's a lot of people that some like a few of my apprentices, like they remind me of me. Like they're at 18, 19, 20. They're at a pivotal point in their life where they're like, it's either this or that, like it's either make it or don't make it, or go do this shit in the street. I actually have this one guy. He was like. He was like I told my wife I was driving to work one day, and it was like my first apprentice had like left. I'm like, man, what the fuck? Because they got sensitive because of something some traditional artist I had in the shop said something and offended them, and they're so sensitive, and they fucking left. So I was driving to work, and I told my wife, I'm like, man, I need some little young roguish motherfucker to come up in here that I could like slap, and he'll come back the next day like, bro, I still want to learn. Bro, so I get no bullshit. Talk about like instant manifestation. I get to work, and there's a letter on my fucking toolbox. I open it, and it's like to whom it may concern. He's like, dear sir, my name is Isaiah such and such. I'm 19. I have a sharp hand. I'm true. I can draw. I'm hungry. This and that. So I call him. And I tell him, come to my shop. And he walks in the door, and he's got a Chicago White Sox hat, like on sideways, his pants sagging. He comes in, he's like, what's up? I'm like, man, you're the motherfucker that I was talking about.
Yeah.
And I saw myself in him.
That was like a jail fight guy. Like,
bro.
Yeah.
And he was on the point to where he was like almost homeless. Like he was living with his mom, but he was like in the street selling drugs, fucking buying guns. And he's 19. And I'm like, damn, bro, you were just like me. You're a little fucking thug ass kid.
You know how to talk to this kid.
Like, and now he's fucking killing it. And every day he's like, man, bro, I appreciate it. You changed my fucking life. I'm not like tooting my own horn, but it's like I saw myself in him, and it's like, cool. Bro, I was able to. If I could have done, I told him like, man, if I could have done what you did at this age, fucking, I could only imagine where I would be at now.
It's super cool.
So that's where it's like, man, I got goosebumps now talking about that shit.
No, that's like cool. Yeah.
That's where it like really, really pays off. And then you see these young cats, and they're like, man, obviously, bro, I'm no hater, bro. I want to see people. I know progression happens. I know people get, like me, I'm starting to focus on other things. So like I may not, my art may kind of, I obviously I want to keep growing as an artist, but it's going to keep going and keep going. And I know
so much energy. Like,
and I know that, and I'm okay with that. But hey, I look at it like, man, you can pass something on. It's like almost kind of like a little legacy, like your roots type thing.
Yeah.
And then they become something badass and start their own thing. And it's like, man, I can't do nothing but love that and, encourage people to do that, so.
Absolutely.
Like nowadays, or like in the industry, you got people that have like the old school of thought, which is cool. In my shop, like my apprenticeship, I still teach the old ways. I make people make handmade machine, all that.
Yeah.
But it's like, but still, you have to know what's coming and how evolution works. And it's like, you cannot just stay stuck in like,
and that's the fucking truth. Yeah.
So it's just the natural, and the tattoo industry is blowing up like crazy. It's like, and it's just like any other business or industry. It's like, there's not too many people. What industry do you know where there's too many people?
No, I feel 0% threatened by that.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, man, if you
there's
focus
no other
on
me, dude.
if you focus on your craft and you do it to the best of your ability and put your all into it, you can't help but succeed.
Yeah.
No matter what, if there's 100 other people around that do a similar style or whatever to you, as long as you're you and you have your little originality and your little like flair to it or human error or what.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Now I'm with you. I want to start cultivating kids and people and teaching and starting to share.
It's always, and that's that you grow with that,
Actually, it's almost what I need now.
It is. I mean, I was sitting here, this is cool. I worked in a private studio, for about, I'd say for like a year and a half, and that was like a room. I was like by myself a lot. It would just be me and the client that day.
Yeah.
Some days it would be cool because the client was like a cool ass personality, and then some days you're like,
damn.
Fuck, bro.
This guy sucks.
You don't even look at each other the whole day. You're just
exactly.
But yeah, man, and that keeps you inspired too, man. To see people growing around you, it like keeps you inspired.
Well, that's where I'm at now. I almost like understand what I need.
Yeah.
That's my next step. Yeah.
So the next step in your metamorphosis.
I've worked with a bunch of good artists. Like I almost don't know if that's what I exactly need. I actually want to like help other people now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
it gets to a certain point. It's like, okay, there's like once you get to a certain technical point to where you can just put it down and achieve whatever. Then it's like, at that point, it's like the only thing that differentiates anything is like a style or something like that.
Yeah,
it's like
I need to focus.
Technically,
I need to focus more on like art creation because the tattoo part, it's for me easy now.
It's like it's like muscle memory now.
Yeah, it's like riding a bicycle.
Yeah, Yeah, but the teaching factor though, that like I feel like that,
and it reinvigorates your idea of what you need to like focus on.
And then those young people you're teaching, they're going to get good, and then they're going to show you some new shit, and you're like, man, this is what I needed right here.
Exactly.
And
I've already seen it, so.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Man, I got to piss.
Me too. I got to piss so fucking bad. You want to just wrap this shit up?
Yeah, we can, bro. That's cool. Yeah.
But I wanted to shout out your supply company because I feel like that could be some shit people could
it's www.sinnerstattoosupply.com. You can order on the website. We got a post office right across the street. Next day delivery.
Fuck yeah.
Shit, I'll make a code, bro. We can make it. We can even make a code.
Let's make the code.
Bobby 10. You get 10% off, bro.
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
And then I'll look out for you too.
So what is it? Sinners Tattoos?
www.sinnerstattoosupply.com. Sinners, SINNERS. Yeah, tattoosupply.com.
And then look, and I know that like for me, you guys have been great. It's a great tattoo supply company. So
man,
I think it'd be great. Yeah.
We carry try to carry all the major products and name brands, and I keep my prices at retail price, and then I have sales, and I'll hook people up. If you reach out to me personally, I'll hook you up too.
Yeah.
I'll give people the code to get 10% off everything. With you,
What's the code that you're gonna make?
We can do Bobby 10.
Bobby 10.
Bobby
so
10.
Use the fucking code Bobby 10.
Bobby 10, baby.
And then your convention, because for me it was my favorite convention I did for sure. So.
Bro, see that that gave me goosebumps. I cannot.
I'm not trying to give no fucking goosebumps,
bro.
Out here.
But see my whole purpose of starting that convention, it was like I was doing all these conventions for years and years, getting these awards, and I saw the things I didn't like. And I'm like, man, fuck that. Some of these promoters are just throwing a convention to make money off these artists. They don't give a fuck about the awards.
You came around and shook my hand and was like, is everything okay? Like, what can we do?
Bro,
like,
you want a beer? Like, what's you need? You had
an IV drip guy over there. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all about me, like catering to the artists, and I wanted to see the artists come to do their best shit and compete. And that's why we gave away, I think it was like,
dude, I came with Civac. This dude don't even do no like U.S. conventions.
Bro,
like
Civac, bro. When he agreed to come, was it you or Michael Perry? I think they actually got him to commit. Civac and you, I think
it was me and Mike and Nolan.
I think he was. Nolan had been to the first one, and they were like, bro, this is So
sick.
But that's what this next one that we're gonna do. I'm not gonna quote it, but Last time we had like 15,000 to give away. This time we're gonna do like 50,000.
I loved it, man. It was,
you know
great.
what I'm saying? And now we're gonna do like a best of like different categories, like best of neo-trad traditional, best of color, you know, best
you
of
guys
black
were
and
definitely
gray.
out there working, man. It was like it was from the artist perspective. It wasn't some bullshit ass shit.
Because it's like you have a convention, you got all these different genres, and there's like, and everybody's good at it. But it's like, damn, some of these, like, you can't really compare this genre to that genre. So it's like these genres need to compete against these genres. So it's like, I feel, and the artists that come, bro, they put their all into it.
Hell
and,
yeah.
Bro, you
No,
don't
it
want
felt
a
like
piece
that,
of
bro.
fucking plastic. Here, bro, here's your trophy you won. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
You at
guys
least
were
win
killing
some fucking, get some change to put in your pocket.
I knew what it was, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Fuck yeah. So it's a Sinners Tattoo Convention.
Sinners Tattoo Expo. Yeah, we're working on, actually today I was trying to get the dates to fucking, so I could give them to you to drop.
They'll find it.
But yeah, they're
we'll
gonna be
post it on the next thing.
They're gonna be dropping real soon.
Fuck yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much.
Man, I appreciate you, brother. I'm definitely gonna come back.
Yeah,
and
we'll do this
man,
anytime
come
you
out,
want.
bro. Come out. But I have a whole fucking spot in my studio dedicated to seminars too, like a classroom setting, like
Hell
with
yeah.
desks, but you know, like advanced education. So we got a guy coming from the UK. His name's Kuzman Tattoos to do a seminar. But man, I like to.
I'll do one.
Come, bro.
sick.
Let's set it up, bro.
We'll
set that shit up.
We're gonna talk
100%.
Hell
Yes.
fucking yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right,
we
man.
appreciate it, brother.
Thank you
Hell
again,
yeah.
man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Yo, thank you for listening, everyone.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Where could they
I'll be
follow
back.
you and all that shit?
Brandon's Artworks. It's a plural. Brandon's BRANDONS Artworks.
And your convention and all
And
that.
it's Sinners Tattoo Expo. And then you have the Sinners Tattoo Supply on Instagram. Just
Fuck
check
yeah.
us
Order
out.
from
We got
those fucks.
Yeah,
Let's
appreciate
go.
it. Yo, fuck.
Later, guys. Peace.